Okay, welcome back everyone. Yeah, my internet connection is still acting up. I can't get it to stabilize, but hopefully I still manage to stream anyway regardless. So this is gonna be part 9 of Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path, and we're on the final case of the game. This might be the finale of the game, but I can't be sure in advance. This being my first time playing through the game, I don't know how much I have left of the game to play. Sorry for the technical issues, but this is something to do with my internet connection, and I just can't fix it because it's a problem with my ISP. So, right. Well, let's try to keep going then. I don't like it any more than you guys do, probably, having a choppy frame rate and stuff like that. Thankfully, it's mostly still screens in this game and text, so it's not as bad as if it was an action 3D game or something like that. But I ask for your patience. Well, it seems stable now, but it keeps going up and down with the bandwidth that I have to work with, so right, well, let's try continuing then, shall we? Sebastian the best, I leave the rest to you. Going up against your own father, it won't be easy. I shall observe how things pan out. From the gallery. Now then, allow me to ask once more, is the prosecution ready? Prosecutor the best, what is the new evidence you wish to present? The missing knife and chisel, Your Honor. You mean they've finally been found? Prosecutor the best, is this true? The knife and chisel. I wasn't able to find them. Why do you say that you managed to find them then? I searched and searched. I really did, but it was already too late. Too late? What do you mean? I remembered this morning when I passed my Pops in the garage at home. What time is it at this point in the day anyway? He was holding something wrapped in a newspaper. Pops, where are you going? Ah, Sebastian. Just taking out some trash. Yeah, my internet connection is acting up again. Ah, Sebastian, just taking out some trash. At that moment, I heard it. The faint sound of a bell. Could that sound have been, by any chance, the bell attached to Dogan's chisel? In other words, you're saying that the witness threw away the evidence? I searched for it, but I didn't make it in time. I'm sorry. Where exactly did you search for it? The garbage dump. I went to the garbage dump and searched everywhere. I thought the evidence Pops threw away had to be there. Isn't that Sebastian? What are you doing here? Wah! He ignored us. So at that time, he had gone to the garbage dump. But, this was all I could find. It smells rather peculiar. Now that you mention it, there's kind of a funky smell coming from you as well. Well, it has been through the trash, so, what do you expect? I was digging through garbage. And what of the knife? I think it's buried somewhere in that giant mountain of trash, but I couldn't find it by myself. I understand. I shall accept this into evidence. What is this, a rock? Hahaha. Well done, Sebastian. You never betray my expectations, you know, because he never expects anything from you, anything worthwhile anyway. You searched so desperately through the garbage, and that's all you have to show for it. Oh, what a tearjerker. I'm tearing up already.
Objection.
It's a bit too early for tears, don't you think? We haven't examined the evidence properly. I think it's just a pointless waste of time, you know? I'm counting on you, Sebastian Miles. Show him that the truth can be exposed in court and take him down. Mr. Shields is backing us up. Now, all we need is a breakthrough. Prosecutor the best. Let's take a closer look at the evidence. Right. It's a lump. No matter how you look at it, it's a lump. Let's have a look inside. It'd be great if we could find some kind of proof. Oh, it was a rolled up newspaper or something. This is the bell that was attached to Dogen's chisel. Are there any traces left behind on it? Ah, it's no good. There's not even a single smudge on it. What did you find, Prosecutor the Best? Did you even find anything? Darn it! Of course you'd find nothing. Something like that can't be called evidence, you know? All it is trash. It may be sad, but that's the truth, you see? Were Sebastian's efforts all for naught? Indeed, this bell does not seem to be valid evidence. However... Mr. Edgeworth, are you really giving up? Calm as always, Edgeworth. Quite unlike Sebastian here. Well then, is the prosecution finished with its argument? Justine, not yet. We're not through yet. There's still something we haven't examined. You're still not giving up. Struggling in vain's not cute at all, you know. It seems Sebastian hasn't given up yet either. I was just thinking the exact same thing. The last item remaining. Is it trash or is it evidence? If we don't examine it, we'll never find out. The item I'm thinking of is... We don't have the knife? The newspaper itself, maybe? We're still not done examining the newspaper that the bell was wrapped in. Yeah, what of the funky smell that they mentioned? It seems that Sebastian has the same idea as I do. Wow, this is just wonderful, you know? So wonderful it's to cry for. Is it desperation or simply reckless abandon? Are you really going to pin all your hopes on a worthless scrap of paper? Hey, we won't know for sure whether or not it's worthless until we examine it, will we? Sebastian, let's examine its post-haste. This is Dogen's bell. There isn't a single stain on it. We probably won't find anything on the bell. Let's try examining the newspaper. Indeed. Wait, what's that? Oh, it's actually, I know what it is. A hand mark. And it's from the glove I found because it's the same words are written on it. Well, death on the fingers. Is this a handprint? There's something greasy on here too. Is it oil? Judge Courtney, we'd like to request a fingerprint analysis on this paper. Could you please summon someone from forensics? Your request is accepted. Contact the lab at once. Reporting, these are definitely fingerprints. Yeah, but it's a glove mark, so you're not gonna find any fingerprints. However, yeah, it's from a glove. It's from that glove. What? Didn't I tell you? It's nothing but a worthless scrap of paper. Just think about it, you know? When handling important evidence. What kind of idiot wouldn't use gloves? Oh wait, wouldn't that be you? The idiot who doesn't know when to give up? That's pretty harsh, talking to your son like that. What's wrong with calling an idiot an idiot? If you want to be the best, you have to be heartless. I have no compassion for worthless individuals, not even my own son. Pops! Pops, You know, you've always called yourself a genius prosecutor, haven't you? Didn't I explain to you this morning why you were a genius up until now? That's right, it was all because of me. Because of my authority. You're always being protected by people like Courtney. And me. Now get that stinking face of yours out of my sight. Stinking? You know, now that I think about it, that stench might just suit you perfectly. Just keep it away from my nose or my eyes will start watering. Objection! The stink? Wrong. You're wrong, Pops. Sebastian, what are you talking about? You're the one who stinks, Pop. It's you, not me. What? The smell is coming from him? You haven't noticed, have you? You smell, Pops. So much that you can't even hide it. Ooh. What a comeback. Mr. Edgeworth, try smelling the handprint on the newspaper. The smell? It smells... like a landfill? Like oil? From the garage, you mean? Because that's where we found the glove. I know something that smells just like it, come to think of it, back then. It smells like motor oil. Maintaining that motorcycle must be Blaze's hobby. Oh, hello, Jeff. Sorry, I didn't see your message right away. Hi there. That's right. The smell proves it. It proves that the culprit who hid the evidence was... It's no good. I guess I can't become the best after all. I'm too soft. I could never be so heartless. I just can't bring down my father with my own hands. Prosecutor the best. Summon your courage. Become a different prosecutor from your father. Wasn't that what you decided? We are prosecutors, and as prosecutors, we stand in the courtroom. In that case, isn't it our duty to shed light on the truth? Exposing crimes and bringing criminals to justice, even if the criminal is your own father. That is your duty as a prosecutor. Didn't I promise you that if you have the courage to stand up, I will show you the way? And if you cannot do it alone, then we shall do it together. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. I like how now it's mostly him that you're playing, really. Allow me to present the evidence that connects this handprint with my father. Well, the glove?
Take that!
This is the smell of motor oil, the kind used for maintaining motorcycles. Both myself and Mr. Edgeworth have smelled this exact same smell before. Blaze the best. It was in your garage. And wouldn't you say these fingerprints have a rather peculiar shape? The 5 letters that spell out death, it's exactly the same as your own gloves.
Objection.
You can buy gloves like that from anywhere. It doesn't prove a thing. Is that really the case? That's not the only thing that these two pieces of evidence have in common. I think I know what they mean. The fingerprints on the newspaper that was used to wrap up the bell. And Blaze's mechanic's gloves. This is the unmistakable similarity they both share. If it is what I think it is, there's a part of the A missing. I noticed that before. Yeah, but he still didn't stand in court for his own trial, so he had to be brought out of prison, I guess. If you examine the imprint left by the letter A, you'll see it's unmistakably from this glove. What? And that's not all. There is one more item we must take note of, namely these dirt stains. I suggest we do a comparative analysis of the dirt stains from the newspaper and the glove. If the contents match up, then it will prove to be decisive evidence. He might have an even bigger breakdown, I don't know. We'll see. Bailiff, please have these dirt samples sent to forensics for analysis immediately. Garr, Edgeworth, Sebastian! You lowly prosecutors, do you have any idea who I am? A crook and a granny. Pops, you can't run away anymore. It's been proven in court that you concealed the evidence and that you tried to cover for the defendant. You're saying that I'm guilty? That I'll be sent to prison? Me, Blaze the best? I guess he was in the detention center up until now. Not really in prison. He was awaiting his trial in the detention center. A couple of snot-nosed punks are gonna make me disappear. There must be some mistake. Be a man and admit your crimes.
Objection.
Do you really think you can survive if I'm not around? I'll be fine now. Aha! I thought I wanted to become the best prosecutor so I could get your approval, Pops. But when I was kidnapped by your men and stuck in that dark room, I started thinking, I am truly powerless. I despaired and averted my eyes from the truth, but... At that moment, Mr. Edgeworth stepped in and showed me the way. And now I am no longer just a child chasing after his father's approval. I've become capable. I can find evidence all on my own now. What? My men kidnapped you? Why were you? Pops, I'll show you the truth you never knew. Through this trial. Sebastian! How dare you speak to me like that? You should have just stayed as an idiot son. Showed him the way with his index finger. You may have hated me to the very end, Pops. But I've always looked up to you. Thank you for everything up until now. And goodbye. You! Since when did you? All you've ever been able to do was depend on me. Sebastian! That was a feeble breakdown, that one. It was right. It has been established that the evidence was concealed by Blaze the Best himself. A judgment regarding his concealment of evidence shall be delivered at a separate trial. The missing chisel and knife still have yet to be found. However, once a search of the waste disposal site is on the way, they will surely be discovered. The knife will be found? What will happen to me if it's found? You'll be found guilty, that's what. Hey, no need to worry. You'll simply receive the punishment you deserve for your crime. Grr, punishment for me? Blaze, what in the world are you doing? You, after all your boasting about being able to create your own truth and not guilty verdicts. That's why I contacted you immediately after the prison incident in the first place. And to make matters worse, you even kidnapped the wrong kid. I just can't believe this. You really are completely useless. Ah, come on, have her do the breakdown where all the animals run away. That was certainly a violent outburst, but you heard her, Prosecutor the Best. Yeah, she got flustered and said a bunch of important stuff. Right? Indeed. That's correct. He still doesn't seem very sure of himself, but there's progress at least. Foolish Blaze. Very well. And with that, this court is adjourned. Not so fast. We know that voice. What? Huh? Who are you? Foolish Blaze, you did but one mistake. You tried to cosplay as Ramu, but you were using the wrong element. Ramu's lightning! Judge Courtney, it's still too early for a happy ending. Like he says, the end of the trial is not always the end of the case. And who might you be? The name's Shilong Lang. The name's Shilong Lang. I'm just a humble lone investigator. Do you have some objection with this trial? Ah, not a chance. The defendant there has a heart as black as a moonless night. Lang, don't tell me you're the one from 12 years ago. You got it. Ain't this nice? Now you're finally going to prison where you belong. 12 years is a long time coming for a suspended sentence. Don't you agree? Agent Lang, what are you talking about? The Ss5 incident from 12 years ago. That's the first we've heard of it. It's a case I'll never forget. 12 years ago. Well, a lot has changed. It all happened over 12 years ago. Back then, he and my father were close friends. I had the president and his father. Our clan protected the president's life, but then he suddenly changed. It's as if he became an entirely different person. Nowadays, he doesn't even have a shred of faith in the police force of Zhengfa. 12 years ago, I wonder what went on then. Might it have something to do with Lang's father and President Wong? Patricia Roland and you, Blaze the Best. Back then, the two of you killed off the Lang clan. Were you involved in the incident 12 years ago? Zhengfa? Perhaps, yeah, I suppose. I guess this is what it's meant to be. That's right, I was. However, I'm not here to chase after ghosts of the past. I'm here for you, Justin Courtney. Me? You and one other. John Marsh? John! Miss Courtney, you're coming along too. As a suspect in the murder of the president of Zengfa, Wong. I like how his sprite is too big to fit in the resolution of the Nintendo DS screen, so they have to shift it to the side so that his whole arm can can be displayed.
Objection!
If this was remade, this is probably something that wouldn't happen anymore. Agent Lang, what evidence do you... Not so fast! Settle down, Mr. Prosecutor. The investigation has only just begun. We're going to inspect the crime scene with the suspects in attendance. Agent Lang, did he get his hands on some new pieces of evidence? If you have any objections, then you can tag along as well. I shall do just that. The end of the trial is not always the end of the case. There are still many mysteries yet unsolved surrounding the murder of the president. Namely, the true nature of the giant monster, and... Then come and get me, I'll be looking forward to it. That is, if you can bring me to justice, but I highly doubt that. Well, apparently, yeah. Even though she's, 26 years old and he is 13. Go figure. I guess you can interpret that however you want until the game decides to, tell us the truth about it. The true identity of the person on the other end of the phone. Outside Grand Tower, temporary film lot. Could you please give it a rest already? Yeah, so? The heck, I'm telling y'all, it's best for all y'all's sake to come clean. You ordered food and it said that it would come at 13:45. It's more than a bit late then. The staff has their lips sealed shut as the reporters continue their tenacious negotiations. I wouldn't like that one bit myself. If you're not here to cooperate with the investigation, I must ask you to vacate the premises. Vacate. Put a sock in it, copper. Y'all couldn't even stop Moodzilla's invasion. Not only did they secretly raise a giant monster, but now the staff is trying to cover it up. Like I said, we haven't been raising any monsters here at the film lot. But ain't you said you done so Gordy yourself? Sure, I saw it, but it's not like we were keeping it at the film lot. Mind if we butt in? Mr. Edgeworth and John. Y'all come here to search for the monster too? We're searching for a criminal, not a monster. Isn't that the same thing, though? The thing is you have needed to go to the bathroom for a while, but didn't because the delivery man was supposed to show up anytime soon. Yeah. That reminds me of the cable guy. The guy arrives when he's in the shower. Cable guy! Cable guy! The darkness inside a criminal's heart can be likened to a monster. Well, when it comes to killing people, criminals aren't much different from monsters. Well, that's what I said. Agent Lang, this is a problem. I can't let outsiders handle the crime scene. These are all key figures in the case. I'd like them to be here when the investigation resumes. Agent Lang, regarding what you said about resuming the investigation, where do you intend to start? We'll start by reviewing the case. Today, the body of President Wong was found here at the film lot. The president's whereabouts from 2 nights ago are still unknown. It seems he snuck out from under the eyes of his bodyguards and ventured outside. And that night was the last time he was seen alive. It was when he met with you, Judge Courtney, on the roof of the Grand Tower. So why did you meet with the president? That I cannot say. You can't tell us, even under suspicion of murder. Can't say? Why not? Miss Courtney, if you don't say anything, you'll only be more suspicious. Ha! She must have, oops. I think you're somehow involved in the president's assassination. The president's body was only discovered today. That still leaves a blank of one whole day after Judge Courtney met with him unaccounted for. Don't be so impatient. We're gonna fill in that blank right here, right now. The evening on that blank day in question is what's important. What happened here last night? So why don't you tell us, John Marsh? Me? We know you were here last night. Oh, what? John was here? Between that little Missy's testimony and the footprints we found, we can easily prove it. John, you were rehearsing here last night, right? You were spying on me. I'm sorry, I just came to check up on things. You really shouldn't be staying up so late, you know. Mind your own business. John Marsh, that young lady was worried about you. You will not speak to her like that. Sorry. How many times have I told you to be more mindful of the way you speak? Is it just me, or does Miss Courtney's personality seem kind of different? She seems to be as strict with her own son as she is with those who violate the law. Are you listening to me? And earlier as well. And it goes on and on and on and on. You should always bear that in mind, no matter the occasion. Can we get on with the investigation already? Pardon me. For Judge Courtney to get carried away like that. This must be her motherly side. Agent Lang, do you suspect John? All I want is the truth. Why was the president killed? And I want to know who killed him. I'll do whatever it takes to find out. It seems the president was like family to him. John, would it be alright if we asked you a few questions? Sure, it's fine. I've got nothing to hide anyway. I wasn't feeling too great during yesterday's shoot, so I made a few bloopers. They're reshooting the scene today, so, well, I decided to rehearse a little on my own, that's all. I do it all the time. There wasn't anything out of the ordinary. You were rehearsing alone that late at night? John, when I called you last night, you told me you were at the hotel. Hold on a second. You called him? And about what time was that? I believe it was around 11 PM. I require him to call me every night. That's our rule whenever he stays away from home. The truth is, I was at the film lot during that time. So you lied to me. Do we still have the tape? Yeah, we still have it, okay. I'm sorry. Miss Courtney sure is angry. I think it's admirable that he practiced on his own, but even if he hid it from his mom, I'm sure she was simply worried. Who knows what could have happened to him, out alone so late at night. And in reality, he did get caught up in yesterday's incident. But John said there wasn't anything out of the ordinary, right? Is that really the truth? Yeah, this is clearly where I'm supposed to, press or present something. Why wasn't he feeling too well, by the way? I'm curious about that. John, you said you didn't feel well. Could you tell me more concretely what was wrong? That doesn't matter. I just wasn't feeling well, alright? You weren't feeling well. Maybe you drank too much milk. Oh, how'd you... no, I mean, that's not it. Oh, okay, that's all it is. So he didn't feel well because of his stomach. When I was young, I was told that chewing milk makes it easier on your stomach, you know? This conversation is over. Anyways, I made a few bloopers. Okay, this is irrelevant, but I was curious as to why. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. What about the giant bullhead that fell down? There wasn't anything out of the ordinary. That's a lie, isn't it? A monster's head fell from the roof of that building. Surely you must have known about that. I don't know anything about it. Is that true? I told you, I just practiced a bit and then I went back. I don't know anything about Moodzilla's head falling or anything like that. Or do you have evidence to show that I know something? There certainly isn't any evidence of that. It's also possible that it fell after John had already gone back. If there's no evidence, then like I said, we're done talking. We're not done talking yet. What now? The falling monster's head wasn't the only unusual thing that happened last night, and this is something you should be well aware of. What happened last night, aside from Modzilla's head falling, well, the president, I guess? Can we check the video? Well, you can't really see anything out of the ordinary on this one, I guess. Oh, wait. Yeah, then he left. Yeah, he left. Why? Why did he leave? We have evidence right here. Ah, could that be? That's right. It's the video you recorded of your performance. What? You're telling me you have video from last night? Exactly, and in this video, there is clearly something that is out of the ordinary. This is a monster's footprint. What? That's the thing that's out of the ordinary? Would you say that monster's footprints are commonplace on a film set? John, why did you conceal this video from us? We didn't really conceal it. No reason really. Well, I guess... Well, it was found in his backpack, so I guess maybe he really didn't want anyone to see it. Hey, pup, this is no joking matter. You had a reason to hide it, right? John Marsh, answer him clearly. But, Mom... Well... I didn't want anyone to see me rehearsing. In other words, you're embarrassed about others seeing you practice. Yeah, got a problem with that? You're saying that's why you hid the evidence? John! Eep! Quit nagging me, you've already busted me, what more do you want? Yeah, the footprints were there, but I just practiced and I headed home. How come you're so calm after finding those footprints? It's a monster, you know, a real-life monster. I thought it was just a part of the set. Besides, there's lots of other weird stuff around here too. He's suspicious, Chief. This kid's really suspicious. You're right. The smell of a scoop stinks to high heaven. Shut up. We're done talking. Not so fast. Wait up, Agent Lang. Hehehe, it's as I thought. Thank you, Mr. Prosecutor. This video backs up my logic. Huh? Is there something in the video that's related to the case? Or is it what's not in the video that's related to the case? Yeah, take a good hard look at the monster costume in the top left. Well, it's open. It's unzipped in the back. Now that you mention it, I didn't notice up until now. Try comparing it with the one over there right now. It looks like it's just hanging there limply though. And the zipper on its back is zipped up tightly. Is there something in it right now? The zipper on its back? What? This discrepancy is... Yeah, the difference is plain to see. In the video, the zipper is clearly open. That's right, someone was inside. What? Mr. Powers, is the costume zipper usually... It's always zipped up tightly when it's not in use. How would you know? I mean, yeah, it's your costume, but is that a rule? And why does it have to be zipped up all the time when it's not in use, if that's the case? Mr. Prosecutor, do you remember my logic from before? 2 nights ago, Courtney pushed the president off the roof and killed him. Afterwards, she snuck into the film lot to hide the body. In here? Wouldn't it be easy to hide a body in a costume or behind all this equipment? Then, all she had to do last night was retrieve the body. You're saying the body was hidden inside the costume? Yeah, that's right. Judge Courtney, 2 nights ago, you pushed the president off the roof of the tower. You then hid the body inside the monster costume. I did no such thing. Say what you want, but you're the only one who could have done it. That should have already been proven impossible. The film lot was locked at the time. Judge Courtney could not have entered this place. And what if there was an accomplice? What? I'll tell you my reasoning, so listen up. When the president was pushed off the roof, John was waiting at the film lot. If John was an accomplice, the problem with the locks would be resolved. The 2 of them then hid the president's body inside that monster costume over there. Well, so you say anyway. To take the life of a nation's president, an elaborate plan is to be expected, don't you think?
Overruled.
Yeah, that's right. Overrule the shit out of his face. You're the one being suspected. Your words don't carry much weight. I wouldn't think those 2 had sufficient motive for something like this, though. Well, maybe they had a motive that we didn't know about. You were the last one to meet with the president, and you're still keeping the details secret. Don't you think it's only natural that you're being suspected? He's not wrong. Come on, fess up. What did you do? Judge Courtney, is there no way for you to tell us your secret? My apologies, I just cannot, no matter what. However, when the time I can talk about it comes, I will surely let you know. So if you could please... Believe you? Is that what you wanted to say? That's what all criminals say. And you, pup, if you've got an explanation, hurry up and spit it out. I didn't do nothing. That's all I'm saying. Both mother and son won't talk. You still gonna defend them like this? It's true, Judge Courtney's actions are a mystery. However, we still don't know whether or not that ties in with a motive for murder. Yeah, that's right, their motive for murder can wait. For now, let's talk about the situation surrounding the crime, and the fact that these 2 are the only ones who could have done it. When the president was pushed off the roof, John was waiting at the film lot. If John was an accomplice, the problem with the locks would be resolved. Well, because he would have the combination, I guess. The 2 of them then hid the president's body inside that monster costume over there. There would be traces. We could have it analyzed, I guess. In the video, we cannot see the inside of the costume, so can you really say for certain that the body was placed inside? Yeah, I'll give you that much. In that case, why don't we try examining it? The inside of that costume. There might be some traces left inside, yeah? Mr. Powers, may we examine the inside of the costume? Sure, go ahead. But it might be kinda stinky since I sweat a lot in there. This is incredibly dirty. That's strange. We always make sure to clean it after using it so that the sweat doesn't damage the costume. Isn't this just proof that someone besides you used this costume? I'd say that dirt from the body probably got into the costume. The president's body did fall on top of the monster's footprint. That must be where the dirt came from. I don't know, that sounds like a lot of work to have someone fall from the roof, then hide it inside the costume, and then bring it back out of the costume to put it back where it originally fell. That seems a bit too far-fetched. Are you satisfied now? Must have gone in there when the body was hidden inside. Body surrounded by pieces of concrete, yellow stain on the clothes. Yeah, do we know what the yellow stains are now? Because the yellow stain should be in the costume as well then, shouldn't it?
Objection!
Dirt got onto the costume when the body was hidden inside it. Is that really the case? You have a problem with that? There is a fair amount of dirt inside the front of the costume. Yeah, that is a lot of dirt. However, I would like you to focus on the state that the body is in. It's lying on top of the dirt, and yet there's no dirt on the front of the body. If the body really was inside the costume, then it's strange that the front of the body isn't stained with more dirt. That's what he was going for. I was talking about the yellow stain, and I still wonder what it is. Actually, isn't there a yellow stain on the gloves as well? Well, I suppose that's meant to be dirt, maybe. Well then, how would you explain it? How did the dirt get inside the costume? From the video footage, it's very likely that someone was inside the costume, but just who could it have been? Where have I seen this? What's the matter, Kay? I just feel like I remember seeing something that looked like this dirt somewhere before. The gloves? You're a black Asian? You're a black Asian? The food finally came and you're finally free. You were finally free to go to the bathroom. That's good. That's good news. But where was it? There were these bits of gray fragments mixed in with the dirt. Gray fragments. There does seem to be something other than normal dirt mixed into it. Jeff Master. Yeah, he was actually. Yeah, that was a previous case, that one. Something got stuck to it. This may merit a closer look. Where did we see dirt that looks like what's stuck on the inside of the costume?
Take that!
Yeah. His hair was still white, though. This dirt has some gray bits mixed into it. Yeah, you get to give him the chocolates at the end of the case, actually, to make him understand how the other lady was feeling about him. Like, she wanted to protect him. She never stopped believing in his innocence and stuff like that. So you have to present the chocolate to get him to understand. And what of it? Well, I guess he was about to be freed. I mean, he's not shown being freed, but I guess you can conclude that he was going to be. We found an item belonging to a certain man that was covered in the same type of dirt. Yeah, because they said that once he's wanted to know if he hugged Ray. No, he didn't. No, I don't think so. Because they said that once he would be freed, the other guy, the real culprit, could not be tried anymore. Because if they overrule the previous judgment about him, then the 1-year investigation of that case was cancelled or something like that. So the statute of limitations goes back into effect. Well, a combination of law text meant that he could not be tried for and found guilty if Jeff was freed. So they said that the law was kind of flawed in that sense or something like that. Yeah, but I guess I guess he was freed in the end. Yeah, I guess he was. The way they were going on about it. Yeah, it hasn't been mentioned since, so I guess we don't know, but I think we can assume that he was freed. I mean, I suppose. We found an item belonging to a certain man that was covered in the same type of dirt. That is to say, these gloves, those dirt stains, certainly look the same, but tell me, just what exactly is this grey substance? Concrete? So much for a satisfying no loose ends conclusion. Well, to that case anyway. Yeah, concrete. What else could it be? This grey substance must be the fragments of concrete. You mean the stuff that was scattered around the monster's footprints? Meanwhile, who do these gloves, which are stained with the same kind of dirt, belong to? Oh, remember, we found it at Blaze's place. Earlier today we went to Blaze's garage. There we discovered these dirt-stained gloves. Come to think of it, there were also hammers, shovels, and other tools placed inside as well. He has a jackhammer and a shovel. Could he have made the monster footprints on the set? But I don't understand the reason though. I mean, he could have, I guess. Why would mechanics' gloves intended to be used on machines be covered in dirt? If he broke the concrete with the hammer and then dug into the soil with the shovel, yeah, there we go. Then it's only natural for dirt like that to get on the gloves. Then maybe, yes, the true nature of the monster's footprints has been made clear. It's possible that these footprints were dug up by Blaze the Best himself. It's possible. It's possible, you say. Please do enlighten me. Because I honestly have no clue why on earth would he do something like that. Well, me neither. Oh, I have to, digging something up? Or he buried something? Well, I don't know, because if he buried something, breaking the concrete to then bury something where the concrete was before seems a bit far-fetched. I mean, someone would think of digging there if the dirt was showing signs that something had been buried there, where there was concrete before. So maybe he was digging something up. Well, I don't know, it seems to be... I don't know, but... what would he bury to? And I mean, there are better places to be burying something so that no one can find it. You could go to, I don't know, any other place where there's no concrete. Why would he break concrete to bury something underneath and then leave the dirt exposed like that with everyone wondering, there was concrete there before. Why is there no concrete now? And why is there a footprint or something? I mean, it wouldn't be a good hiding spot to bury something, in my opinion. That's why I thought that maybe digging something up is more likely, but I have no idea what it might be though. It probably went something like this. Last night at this spot there was something that Blaze needed to dig up. For that reason he broke the lock on the back door and sneaked into the film lot. Yeah, using the hammer and shovel is set to work. Man, I do like cow feet. Well, I don't know. I figure maybe he made them in the shape of cow feet, so that people could think that maybe it has something to do with the filming. He placed the items he dug up into his bag, but before he could fill in the holes, that's when John came to practice. Let's leave that shape there. Blaze panicked and had no choice but to hide himself in the Mozilla costume nearby. To think you would deduce so much from just a pair of dirt-stained gloves. However, all of this is merely a possibility. There's still no proof that he was the one who was hiding inside that costume. For all we know, he might have left the scene once he finished digging.
Objection!
On the contrary, such proof does exist and can be seen in the video. When it was recorded, Blaze was definitely inside the film lot. What? Though I can't blame Agent Lang for not noticing. The difference? Yeah, and the one in John's video? Along with the state of Blaze's garage? It's all too clear that Blaze was still there. I can't see very well what it is, but there's a bag here. But I kinda wish I could go back and look through my evidence to see if the bag is still there now.
Take that!
This bag placed near the costume, there was an identical one inside Blaze's garage. Okay, I didn't notice actually. First the dirt on the gloves, and now the bag. It seems there is a connection. Mechanics gloves data updated in my organizer. And that's my proof. Blaze was inside the costume. Ergo, the president's body could not have been hidden inside it. Ayah! It seems I was able to refute Agent Lang's reasoning. Someone needs to go investigate Blaze's house right away, pal. We need to know what was inside that bag. Yes, sir. Hold it. Who said that? Y'all pipe down and listen up. Y'all just been saying whatever works best for y'all. And the noisy one returns. That there's the footprints of the mighty Mozilla. They ain't just some random holes dug up by that old coot. I believe the true nature of these footprints has already been proven quite logically. Logic's magic, I ain't buying it. Say what you want, but I know what I saw, and I saw Mozilla. Is she referring to how she saw Mozilla out the window of the Grand Tower? Preposterous. Upon our journalist souls, we ain't having none of it. That statement is an insult to journalists everywhere. Ah, that's right, there's more to them monsters than just those footprints. I remember hearing that Sunny over there was seen with the monster earlier. It's a crane. Hello, senpai. Welcome back. I reckon that gal over there said she witnessed it herself. When these two are together, all meaningful talk grinds to a halt. If we only knew just what the monster really was, I think those two would quiet down. Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything you can do? The monster's true identity. It's the crane! We don't have much choice. Let's see what we can do. Is there something y'all ain't telling us about the monster? Nicole, ask him. Ask him right now.
Hold it!
Please settle down. Regarding the true identity of that monster, I already know what it is. That's right. The video John recorded provided the hint that I needed. What you talking about? Miss Nicole saw Gordy. Not only it was the shape of the crane, but it had the same sheets on it that they said was for covering the crane when it's raining. But from the angle of the video, you can tell that it was, it's more like a... Well, from the angle that the video was shot, you can sort of tell that the camera was high up on the crane. So that's three elements that tell you exactly what this is. When she went to check up on John's practice at that time, she mistook something for Gordy. The monster can be seen in this photograph. What? And that's just some plain old souvenir photo? Y'all don't really think you can pull the wool over the eyes of a pro like me, do ya?
Take that!
Naturally, Gordy's true identity was this camera crane. What? The video John recorded was shot from fairly high up. A shot from this position would be impossible without a camera crane. But there ain't no way Miss Nichols would mistake a camera crane for Gordy. It was covered in the sheets. Don't we have that piece of evidence, actually? No, we don't. Well. Miss Nichols, earlier you said the prescription for your glasses didn't match your eyesight anymore, correct? Yes, lately it seems like my eyesight has certainly gotten a lot worse. So would you say that you weren't able to see Gordy very clearly in the dark? That's right, its silhouette was all I could make out. But remember what Miss Nichols said, and I quote, its skin was really scaly, almost like a reptile. Camera cranes ain't got no flesh on them, let alone skin. It's just a bare steel frame. That is certainly true, at least in the case of this photo. However, last night, it did have skin. You're just doing whatever you can to get in the way of our big scoop, ain't ya? That was not my intention, but since I've come this far, it's time to put an end to your nonsense. Gordy's skin is right before our very eyes. This here.
Take that!
As Miss Nicole stated in her testimony earlier, it looked like it was going to rain last night. While it never actually rained, John still covered the camera crane with a rainproof sheet, which to Miss Nichols looked like a monster skin. What? You gotta be kidding me! Isn't that right, John? Man, you saw through it all. Not bad, old man. Old man. Unfortunately, the Gordy that Miss Nichols saw was nothing more than an illusion. Not again. Looks like my dream has shriveled up and died once again. Mentor. Seems like things have finally settled down. I really thought the boy was hiding something from me, but I still wonder about the eye she saw through the window of the tower, though. Guess I had it all wrong. Now that we've figured out the true form of the monster, everyone seems refreshed. Actually, there's two people here who are totally bummed out. Agent Lang. The report is in, sir. We've got the results of President Wong's autopsy. What's the cause of death, then? Good, show it to me. Contusions and bone fractures found across the body, resulting from tremendous pressure. So this was the cause of death. In other words, he was crushed to death. I thought as much. So he was crushed. He didn't fall off from the building. Shouldn't that let Courtney off the hook? The yellow stain on his chest is currently under investigation. Ah, come on. How much longer do you need? But it seems that gunpowder residue was found on his right hand. Uh-huh. Sunflower residue? I didn't know the president was into gardening. No, gunpowder residue. Traces of it are left behind when a gun is fired. Since it has been found on his right hand, it's possible that the president fired a gun. A gun, huh? But we didn't find any guns when we investigated this area. Unexplained gunpowder residue. I'll have to look over the autopsy report later. Now then, Agent Lang, it seems we have our answer. The president did not die from falling off the roof of the Grand Tower. Rather, he died from being crushed under Mozilla's head. I can't deny it. Looks like your logic was right after all. This means the suspicions surrounding Miss Courtney should be cleared up, right? Yes, not only the cause of death, but the time of death proves her innocence as well. Judge Courtney met with the president 2 nights ago. However, according to the autopsy report, the time of death was around 11 p.m. last night. Mozilla's head also fell last night. It matches up perfectly. That's a relief. Isn't it a bit too early to be relieved? Agent Lang? The president died after being crushed by the Mozilla's head. That I will admit, but the problem is, who was responsible for the falling head? The fire! Don't I have something that says so? Nah, not that. Oh, I don't have any evidence of that? The table that burned. No, I don't have it. That's a shame. Mozilla's head fell last night, and last night the one who was at the film lot was... What are you saying? Surely you're not implying... That's right, you killed him, didn't you? John Marsh. Why would a little kid like that kill a president of a country, really? Is he a terrorist? Or something? Come on. That pup is hiding something. He was at the scene where the body was discovered last night. He also saw the footprints. And despite that, he still claims to know absolutely nothing about the incident. Isn't that a bit too convenient? These footprint-shaped holes have not been proven to be related to the case. Just because he saw the holes doesn't necessarily mean that he's involved in the incident. You sure about that? Take a look at the pup's face. He looks pretty shaken up to me. It looks like he hit the mark, but John doesn't want to talk about it. If he doesn't feel like talking, then I have an idea of my own. Let's check the tape. Agent Lang, what is your intention? The police have a device that lets you analyze the video footage up close and personal. Yeah, let's enhance the video. Agent Lang, you would suspect John enough to go that far? As long as John's lips are sealed. This may be the only way for us to get closer to the truth. Detective Gumshoe, if I'm not mistaken, you have that device with you, correct? Mr. Analysis is ready to go, sir. Now we're talking. Prosecutor Edgeworth, would you please perform the video analysis for us? She wants me to do it. Who knows what kind of faults that Wolfman will find in it. This isn't exactly my strong suit, but I suppose I have no choice. Are there any clues shown on the video? The problematic area? Hey! What's that? What's that? What's that? This is... What's the matter? I want to see too. Eek! Hey, what's wrong? Show it to me. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I request you submit the evidence to the court. Please take a look at the top right corner of the zoomed-in video. This person is... the president! Impossible! No way! It seems we finally found it at last, the evidence that points to the true killer. Wasn't he bare-chested? This video places John at a major disadvantage. You're wrong, that's not right, I didn't know anything about this. That's not gonna cut it. It's clear that you and the victim were together at the same place where his body was later found. John Marsh, there's no doubt. You killed the president. No, this can't be. Why? Why would you? John, please, don't tell me. Did you really kill the president? Are you dumb or something? Of course not, he didn't. Mr. Edgeworth, is this really decisive evidence? Yes, boobs. What about them? Mr. Prosecutor, looks like even you can't object to this. That pup said he didn't know anything, right? And yet the president's right here in the video. John, what are you hiding? John, please tell us the truth. The truth is, it's all my fault. John Marsh, what did you do? Mozilla's head falling was all my fault. I mean, if the fire was started by the heater, maybe it was cold or something, so he turned on the heater, and he left it on, and there was the paint thinner on the ground that caught fire, that set the table on fire, and so the bull's head fell on top of the president, maybe. Actually, maybe he might have killed the president, but just not directly, and not intentionally either. While I was setting up the equipment on the roof, I used the heater. After that, I went down to practice, but I forgot to turn it off. Then my mom called me, so I left the film lot. When I came back to the lot, after the phone call was over, Mozilla's head that was on the roof had fallen. Can you play Slayer, Spill the Blood? I don't have that one. But no. No, I can't, I'm afraid. Especially since I'm putting this on YouTube afterwards and I don't want to be flagged for a copyright infringement. And right next to it was the president lying dead on the ground. How can that be? I see, there were indeed traces that something had caught fire on the rooftop. It was just a small fire, so I was able to put it out by myself. So the president's death was John's fault. It might have been. Okie dokie. But wouldn't that make this an accident, sir? And then, what did you do with the fallen head? I took it apart, brought the pieces up to the roof, and put it back together. So, you put out the fire, and even put the fallen head back on the roof. Which means you were hiding evidence. We can't be having that, you naughty little pup. I didn't do it on purpose. I really did just forget to turn up the heater. They can't really put him on trial for that reason, can they? When the legs broke, the stand would have tilted. If Mozilla's head was on top of the stand, it would have fallen off. So the head fell down because of the fire. Yes, and if that's the case, I also have a pretty good idea what caused the fire. There's a flammable can next to the heater. It seems someone is lacking in safety awareness. Yeah, that's what he said at the time. Yeah, this is a flashback. Was it really just an accident? If that's the truth, then what was the president doing here? I don't know. There was no one else around when I was there. You expect me to believe that? The president wouldn't have just come to a place like this without a reason, you know? Indeed, the president's reason for coming here is still a huge mystery. Well, wasn't he supposed to have a cameo in the film? Don't I have a piece of evidence that proves that? No, not that. It was mentioned, but belonged to the late president of Zengfa. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the closest thing that I have then is the fact that he had a Mozilla doll. Maybe. Indeed, the president's reasons for coming here is still a huge mystery. Oops, sorry. No, Jeff. No, not really. 2 nights ago, he met with Judge Courtney on the roof of the Grant Tower. And last night, he was here at the film lot. Did he meet with John? Nah, he's been here. He's been around before. I can't recall what for what game. He's not a regular, but he's been around before. I'll have to listen to John's testimony very carefully. While I was setting up the equipment on the roof, I used the heater. After that, I went down to practice, but I forgot to turn it off. Then my mom called me, so I left the film lot. When I came back to the lot after the phone call was over, Moodzilla's head that was on the roof had fallen, and right next to it was the president lying dead on the ground. It'd be pretty scary to see a corpse just suddenly appear out of the blue like that, not to mention the fallen monster head lying next to the body. Panic would certainly be an understandable response to such a situation, but still, all things considered, this was just an accident, right? Indeed, that is if we decide to take John's words at face value. I wouldn't mind having some more concrete details on the state of the crime scene. Yeah, how did you know that he was dead? If he was lying on the ground, did you get closer to the body? Did you touch it? What was the state of the body? Yeah. I didn't get a good look because it was dark. How can you tell he was already dead then? He's suddenly become as quiet as a mouse. I guess John doesn't really want to remember anything about the body. Is that the only reason why he's gone so quiet? Should I press him for more details? Yeah. You didn't get a good look, then how did you know it was dead? Yeah, exactly what I said earlier. At least we know that he won't be found guilty. Well, I suppose not. I mean, even if he was really killed by the head falling because of the fire, and the fire being because of the heater, and the heater being because of him, I guess he's not gonna be found guilty. Well, yeah, I guess they wouldn't do that to a kid. Well, even in real life, I mean, they wouldn't put him in prison at the age of 13 for accidentally creating a situation that led to the death of someone. He's clearly shaken. He must be hiding something. Wouldn't you normally call for help if you see someone collapse on the ground? However, you did nothing of the sort. But he was already dead. Also, this accident is bullshit. Well, it's kind of a succession of events that all led to that outcome. It's kind of bullshit. Yeah, it's true. Is that so? You seem quite certain that the president was already dead. Yeah, like, if things were set up so that it would happen anyway, maybe, yeah. Now, is there a reason for that, I wonder? The guy was collapsed on the ground, and right next to him was the fallen monster's head. I'm not stupid, it wasn't hard to imagine what happened. You can imagine whatever you want, but there was no way for you to know that he was dead. You actually checked to make sure the president was dead, didn't you? Yeah, that's right. And that's why the footprints were in the footprints of the kid were in the bigger footprint of the monster. He got close to the body to have a better look. That's why his footprints were there in the first place, and that's why he's being interrogated. Also, to be honest, poor kid. Yeah, to be put into this situation. Well, that's true. I was scared, but I got up close to the body and checked to see if he was breathing. And to live with that guilt, yeah. I thought as much. However, why would he hide that? There must be a reason. Please, tell me the state of the body at that time. At first, I didn't know he was dead. I would have realized sooner if there had been any blood. But there wasn't a single drop, and his clothes were completely spotless. Either way, he wasn't breathing. That's how I knew he was already dead. Would you please append those statements to your testimony? You don't have to use big words with a kid like that, you know. I didn't know right away that he was dead. There was no blood and his clothes were spotless. That contradicts the fact that there was a stain on his clothes. Does he know what? What? Adding X to a testimony means? Yeah, I wonder. That's why I said don't use big words to a kid, for a kid. Yeah, that's right. You got a problem with it, old man? John, it is painfully obvious that you are desperately trying to hide something from me. What are you going on about? I'm not hiding anything. You are hiding something about this yellow stain on the president's clothes, correct? Is it possible that it's milk? And that it turned yellow over time? Come to think of it, why did you leave it entirely out of your testimony? The fact you made no mention of it only serves to cast more suspicion upon yourself. That's because I hope you have a convincing explanation. Overruled! Judge Courtney. Also, I think it's very cute that he has milk boxes. Well, it's like was said yesterday, he is complexed about the fact that he's tiny for a 13-year-old, so everyone thinks he's an elementary schooler. So he drinks lots of milk because he hopes to grow up faster. But then that caused him stomach aches the day of the filming before, so he made bloopers because he had stomach aches because he drinks too much milk. So, typical anime cliche. Yeah, I'm not tiny. That sort of thing. Why are you? The yellow stain left on the president's chest is almost certainly lion lily pollen. And drinking milk to grow? Lion lily? When I met with the president on the roof of the Grand Tower 2 nights ago, I brought him a bouquet of lion lilies. Lion lilies are beautiful flowers with stunning golden petals. Some of the pollen from the lilies must have gotten on the president's suit. Well, I guess the forensics analysis will tell us whether that's true or not. But I didn't see any lilies in the security footage though. They were simply obscured by the president's body. That's a whole lot of pollen, yeah, that's true. Why did you bring a bouquet? That I cannot say. Come on! Which couldn't have come from those flowers, I think. Yeah, I need to stretch. Hey, you're keeping way too many secrets. You won't tell us why you met with the president or the reason you brought him flowers? My apologies. However, I did give him the bouquet. That much is true.
Objection!
But when the president's body was discovered, we didn't find any flowers. I honestly don't know how that could be. Ha! Hey, Miss Judge. All your answers have been too vague. You can't say this, and you don't know that. Do you accept flimsy testimony like that in your trials? Hey, cut it out. John, I threw the flowers away. You threw them away? So there were flowers near the body when you found it? Yeah, that's right. They were right on top of the president's body. They had been crushed as flat as pancakes, though. Ah, I see. So the flowers were squashed by Mozilla's head, too. Unless he knew that the flowers had been offered by his mom, why would he throw the flowers away? What did those flowers ever do to him? And a large amount of pollen got stuck to the president's suit. That seems to be the gist of it. However, why did you go out of your way to dispose of the flowers? Yeah, exactly. That's what I was wondering about. No reason. So John's not going to tell us anything either. I guess mother and son both have a lot of secrets, huh? Overruled! That is not true. At the very least, I can tell you why John threw away those flowers, huh? John, you saw me leaving the house with those flowers in hand, did you not? Well, it would seem that it wasn't, I guess. The way they're going on about it, I guess it really was the flowers. John saw the flowers and thought of his mom. He threw them away in order to protect Judge Courtney from being suspected. Yeah, okay. That's not true, you're all wrong. That was his worst lie yet. Bouquet data, jot it down in my organizer. Well, I would still like to have confirmation from the forensics as to whether or not it truly is pollen, but Well then, he saw his mom with the flowers. Yep. So he did it to protect her. Yep, that's it. I often decorate our house with those flowers. The bouquet must have reminded him of me. So the pup just happens to find the flowers from his mother's bouquet on top of the body. That's why he threw them away and kept silent about the body. Ha! That's a tidy little story if I've ever heard one. And what's wrong with that? I suppose you prefer untidy, messy stories, Agent Lang? Don't tell me you've forgotten already, Missy. This pup confessed that he caused the monster's head to fall last night. Oh, that's true, but yeah, I didn't mean to. He's currently the only suspect in the president's murder. It is true that there are many reasons to suspect John. However, there is someone other than John who is far more suspicious, the president himself, I'd say. John himself was kidnapped by that very person not too long ago. Oh, no, he doesn't mean the president. Well, yeah, I was gonna say the president himself as well, because what was he doing there in the first place? That's very suspicious too. But I guess this is not what he's going for right now, though. I guess he's, it's taking a different direction. Naked. Well, I don't know if he was really naked. Maybe it's because it was black and white. Maybe he was wearing a suit, but you know, he looks very muscular even with his suit on, so, And we rescued him from the refrigerated warehouse near the harbor, pal. A refrigerated warehouse. That's right, pal. The refrigeration wasn't turned on, so he wasn't about to freeze to death, but if he hadn't yelled out for help, we would have never found him. Once the sleeping drugs wore off, he was finally able to call out for help. There is something we haven't settled about, the gunshot? Yeah. Who did the president shoot? Because he must have had a gun, and he must have used it to have gunpowder on his hand. So, where did the gun go? Who was he shooting? For what reason? I mean, you'd think that the real culprit would be maybe wounded or something by a gun. I believe the president might be a very bad guy. Well, he did try to fake an assassination on his person, so, well, he's not a completely honest person, so that's for sure. Once the sleeping drugs wore off, he was finally able to call out for help. Sleeping drugs, huh? If I recall correctly, when you were kidnapped. That's right, there was a bottle lying on the floor of the refrigerated warehouse. I think it was the same thing that was used on me not long ago. That Sleepy Z's stuff. It's super powerful. Used on Kay and John when they were abducted. The brand name is Sleepy Z's. How about it, Agent Lang? John is clearly a victim. There is a mastermind at work behind the scenes of this case. I don't know anything about this so-called mastermind. You say that they were here last night? I still don't know for sure yet. Ha! It's not like you to be so vague, Mr. Prosecutor. Indeed, I still don't have any evidence that ties the mastermind to this murder. Is there someone else? Is there anyone besides John who had the opportunity to murder the president? That's it. As I thought, in the end, that pup is our only suspect. Isn't there one more suspect, Agent Lang? What's this? Didn't we prove it earlier, last night? There was one more person here. I've been telling you all for days now. Money is the mastermind causing all of these. Blaze the Best, you're saying he's the one who did it? Last night, John was not alone. Blaze the Best was here too. But he wasn't in prison last night, so yeah, it's entirely possible. Shouldn't we consider him to be a new suspect? Blaze the Best killed the president? It's entirely possible. Blaze the Best. It can't be. The same guy from 12 years ago. 12 years ago. That keeps popping up. Well, a lot has changed. It all happened over 12 years ago. Back then, he and my old man were close friends and our clan protected the president's life. Lang, don't tell me you're the one from 12 years ago. You got it, ain't this nice? Now you're finally going to prison where you belong. 12 years is a long time coming from a suspended... It is a long time coming for a suspended sentence, don't you agree? Agent Lang, what happened 12 years ago? Nothing that concerns you. On the contrary, it might just have some sort of connection with this case. Hiya!
Not so fast.
And I suppose you have some proof, Mr. Prosecutor. Show me evidence that there's a connection between this case and the one 12 years ago. I know exactly what they're going for right there. For once. Evidence, you say? If you don't have any evidence, then there is no point in talking about it. Is there any evidence that connects this case with what happened 12 years ago? Yeah, a certain letter that mentions something that happened 12 years ago.
Take that.
This letter was sent to Jill Crane, who was murdered 2 days ago. Although the sender is currently unknown, here it is written as follows. Please, get revenge for 12 years ago. What? 12 years ago? That's not all. Take a look at this as well. This is a report written by Patricia Rowland to Blaze the Best regarding Lightly. Please, read this part here. That thing he laid to rest near the flower butt 12 years ago. Agent Lang, something big is happening here. Jill Crane's murder 2 days ago, and now the president's murder today. There has to be some connection there, and the key to solving it lies in what happened 12 years ago, does it not? You're asking me to reopen the old wounds of the Lang clan. Agent Lang, I beg of you. Who was that just now? Shifu! 12 years ago, what happened is, money was born. You guys, what are you all doing here? We followed you here, Shifu. We heard that Shifu was investigating the incident from 12 years ago. You idiots! I'm not your boss anymore. Get back to your own posts. Sir, we can't do that. What'd you say? Are you disobeying my order? Shifu, we also beg of you. Reinvestigate the Ss5 incident from 12 years ago. None of us could ever forget that case. We know you feel the same way, Shifu. Agent Lang, even your former subordinates desire to reinvestigate the case. And you think you can solve the mysteries of that case? Perhaps I can, with your help. If he's not their Shifu anymore, yeah. What kind of... Yeah, I'm not your boss anymore and disobeying an order? Yeah, I thought the same thing to myself, actually. You can't order them if you're not their boss anymore. I got it. I accept your invitation. Shifu, Shifu, Shifu. Now then, with that decided, I guess it's my turn to shine. Okay? We're investigating a case from the past, right? And guess what the best tool for that is? The little Mr. Thief. You've missed so much, your friend just called? Ah, okay. Well, no problem, senpai. Right, if we have the case files from the past case, I can recreate it. Unfortunately, I don't have the case files. Huh? What do you mean? Access to those case files is restricted. It's being treated as highly classified information. Why is that? I don't know, but it seems like there were a lot of things that they wanted to keep hidden. Even what I know is limited to what was published in the newspapers back then. Ah yeah, it was his father investigating on it, not himself. That will not be a problem. In any case, please tell us what you know. The Ss5 incident. The incident occurred on a winter day 12 years ago. It was the 10th of February. The police department in this country received a call from a group of kidnappers. We've kidnapped President Wong, they said. Kidnapped? The Ss5 incident was the case of President Wong's kidnapping. They demanded a ransom of $100 million. $100 million? Wait, just how much is that? It's such a large amount, she's having trouble visualizing it. That night, my old man was the last person to meet with the president. They were together at the Ss5 embassy until midnight on February 10th. Well, I do wonder how long their mandate lasts. I mean, if he was already president 12 years ago, how many mandates has he, did he get, and how long do they last in Ss5? After that, no one knows what the president was doing up until he was kidnapped. With the president's life at stake, the Ss5 government frantically gathered the money. The money! He said it. It was the money. After that, the ransom was delivered and the president was returned safe and sound. So, President Wong has been the president since 12 years ago. That's really amazing. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And there you go, yeah. You all laughed at me. It was the money, I told ya. Anyway, well, yeah, that's what I said. It's a bit surprising that he was already president 12 years ago and he has not stopped being a president since, well, I guess he stopped when he died. Well, being in office for so long is just a small part of how amazing the man is. I guess it's legal over there. Lang seemed a bit happy when he said that. And what happened to the kidnappers? Well, a top-secret covert investigation was carried out, then a secret trial was held. Damn the dark... It stopped when he died. Damn the dark humor. Well, yeah, what do you want me to say? A trial, does that mean the suspect was caught? The suspect was Patricia Rowland. Then the reason you came to the prison a few days ago. Yeah, I was put on extended leave from Interpol. Extended leave? So I decided to go back and reinvestigate what happened 12 years ago. First, I had to get a look at the face of my target. So the trial 12 years ago ended with a not guilty verdict. Yeah, back then my old man was in charge of every aspect of the president's security. He took responsibility for the kidnapping and was relieved of his post as bodyguard. But he continued to investigate as a regular police officer until he finally found the culprit. And it was none other than Patricia Rowland. There was no way she could be innocent. However, the result was a not guilty verdict. In the end, the case went unsolved. Crushed in both body and soul, my old man resigned from the police. What was the basis for arresting Patricia Rowland? There was a lot of evidence, at least that's what I think. But I can't see those documents for myself, so that's where my story ends. What should we do? With only this much information, even the little thief would have a hard time producing a recreation. Is there really nothing we can do? Looks like you could use some help. Who is it? Ah, these guys? Francisca. And Mr. Shields too. We finished up with the trial and finally managed to catch up with you guys. Here, take this. This is... Ah! It's the case file for the Ss5 incident, sir. Where did the affair take place anyway? In Ss5? Or in Japan, Japan America, or whatever? Because how did they get access to something like that that's such a high-profile case under, like, NDA or something like that? When Rowland mentioned 12 years ago during the trial, it caught my interest. I looked into it immediately and got in touch with Interpol. Ah, yeah, I guess, yeah, through connections with Interpol. Yeah, okay. I guess that makes more sense that way. I expected no less from you, Francisca. Don't get the wrong idea. Japan America. Japanifornia. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's it. I didn't prepare these documents for you, the former prosecutor. I did it for the sake of the investigator taking up the case his father left behind. Sis, but I thought the information on the Ss5 incident was restricted to the public. That restriction was placed by the prosecutor in charge of the case, Blaze the Best. Blaze the Best was the prosecutor in charge? Him. However, as a result of the trial just now, Blaze's authority has been revoked. It's all thanks to his son. Ha! He did good for once. Sebastian? By bringing down his father, the door to this past case has been opened. Prosecutor the Best is currently wrapping things up in Patricia Rowland's trial. He told me to relay this message to you. Leave Pops and his cohorts to me. You guys just take care of the case on your end. Heh, he's become quite reliable right before our very eyes. Truly. Alrighty then. This is perfect. Now that we have the files, just leave the recreation to me. Indeed. Well then, let us begin. According to these documents, it appears that the incident took place right in front of the Tower Plaza. So it didn't happen in Zengfa? Okay, would you please activate the little Mr. Thief? Right, with these case files, recreating everything should be a snap. Where should I start? Where indeed, according to these documents, it seems there was a witness to the kidnapping of the president, a freelance journalist by the name of Jack Cameron. However, he happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and was murdered by the culprit. So that would mean the place he saw the president at was here. Here, at the Grand Tower? No, the Grand Tower was only built around a year ago, Kay. Before that, this place contained mostly old abandoned buildings. However, 12 years ago, this place was... Ha! Now you're finally talking about some stuff that I know. Yeah, 12 years ago, at this very spot was... the Happy Family Home. What's that, pal? It was a place where children who had lost their parents could live. Or to put it simply, it was an orphanage. So the president was kidnapped at that orphanage. And the head of that facility at the time was Patricia Rowland. Apparently Rowland always referred to it as her home. Something she still does to this day about her own prison or something. It seems that suspicion would naturally fall upon her. Patricia Rowland, Blaze the Best, and President Wong. The darkness that remains from the Ss5 incident still casts a shadow on the present case. Okay, I'd like you to input the investigation data from Jack Cameron's murder case. We can probably assume that he was killed by one of the kidnappers. So if we solve the murder case, we'll know who the kidnappers were, right? Precisely, I'm counting on you. There's a clock on top of the door, just like to the tower or something? What the heck is this? Everything's green. I've come to expect such reactions. This is a recreation of the grounds of the facility that stood here 12 years ago. Is it possible that the kid comes from the orphanage? And that Courtney just adopted him? It sounds more plausible than her giving birth at the age of 13. Based on the documents from the police investigation, I recreated the scene to show what it looked like when police arrived at 7 AM the next day. It appears a fair amount of snow had piled up here. Yeah, I heard that the footprints in the snow were prime pieces of evidence. The snow fell during the day, on the day of the incident. So the snow only fell before the crime took place. Which means the footprints wouldn't have been erased by any further snow. I must make sure to pay close attention to these footprints. So this is the eyewitness of the president's kidnapping, Jack Cameron. What exactly did he witness? I've recreated the state of his body based on the photos taken by the police. It appears that he was struck in the head from behind. The murder weapon was a brick, right? It looks like the ones from this garden. The blood that flowed from his head has splattered all over the surroundings. Here, take this. It's Mr. Cameron's autopsy report. Bludgeoned to death. Time of death, February 10, around 11 AM. Touch the check button for details. Yeah, let's touch all the crooks and the grannies. Isn't that the same flower? A yellow flower has fallen here. In the language of flowers, it means a stolen treasure. Yeah, okay. Yeah. A fallen flower means a stolen treasure. Right. Yeah. Okay, no comment. Okay, please, stop making things up. Yeah, but there's another meaning to it. Still, this flower seems to be of a different variety from the ones growing nearby. Well then, why is it in a place like this? This bothers me a little. We should examine the flower bed itself after this. I knew it. Someone must have stolen this from somewhere and brought it here. Okay. And in the language of flowers, this means an angry prosecutor. Yeah, well, okay. This doesn't mean anything, though. I assume this is the victim's cell phone. That's right. Apparently, Mr. Cameron gave his eyewitness testimony over the cell phone. What do you mean by over the cell phone? Have you never seen in an anime, I mean particularly Japanese animation, a scene between a man and a woman where they don't show what's happening, but there's a flower that falls? You've never seen that. You don't know what it means. What do you mean by over the cell phone? After Cameron found the president, it seems... No. It means... Yeah, but... Yeah, you know, you really understand now. After Cameron found the president, it seems that he called his girlfriend. But she didn't answer the phone, so Cameron left a message on her answering machine. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, it means the loss of virginity. There you go. And stolen treasure. Well, it depends. Sometimes it can be a flower falling as well. Like in Ranma 1/2, I've seen it happen. In Maison Ikoku, I've seen it happen like that too. Maybe in the older anime, maybe it was traditionally more a flower, I guess. Wait, a pasta. What? Pasta. What? Wait, a macaroni. But she didn't answer the phone, so Cameron left a message on her answering machine. The tape in the case is in the case files too. You want to hear it? Yeah, there's a scene where Tatewaki Kuno, because when how can I explain that? There's Kasumi, one of the Tendo daughters, explaining to Tatewaki Kuno that the girl Ranma, the Osage no Onna, and Ranma are how does he say it again? She says they are bound body and soul, or something like that is what she says, and he understands that that Ranma the guy took the virginity of Ranma the woman, and he's like playing the scene out to explain the things with dolls behind the hedge, and like oh, you're gonna stay quiet now, Oto-san, and then you see a flower falling, and you have Nabiki Tendo behind being like that. Yeah, great, you explained it right. You can only see it as a flower petal because you know deflowering. Well, yeah, but that's the meaning. Yeah, that's the meaning essentially. But I guess here when she meant stolen treasure, I mean I understood it that way anyway. I guess maybe there might have been a double meaning there. What K is on wrong exactly? No, I didn't say it was wrong. It's just that it fits her character because stolen treasure, but it can also be interpreted that way. I meant there is a double sense there, is why that made me laugh. Anyway, close parenthesis. I'm gonna continue the game now. Hello, Jill. Are you asleep already? I'm in front of the facility now, but... Oh, Jill Crane! But something's not right. President Wong is here of all places, and what's more... Crap, the light just went off. I can barely see a thing now. I can't believe it, but it almost looks like he's being kidnapped. I thought I'd let you know. What was that sound at the end? It seems he was attacked while he was still on the phone. Agent Lang, may I ask, what was the name of Mr. Cameron's beloved? I'm pretty sure I heard her name was Jill Crane. And by the way, you said Ranma One Health is a cute family show? No, it's not really a cute family show, by the way. I mean, there is a lot of nudity in Ranma One Half. I mean, when it's not censored anyway. When I watched it when I was little, it was heavily censored for us. Because it's more of a teenager thing, but it used to air in the early morning when all the little kids were watching TV. So seeing boobs and stuff like that on TV at this time of day wouldn't float, especially in those years. Did you say Jill? This was why she was seeking revenge for 12 long years. The feelings and the items Miss Crane inherited from her beloved brought her to the auction. She had come to exact revenge on the conductor, Blaze. But Miss Crane tried to get revenge on Blaze, right? She may have wanted to get revenge on him for covering up the kidnapping case. Or perhaps she thought Blaze himself was the kidnapper. Left on Jill Crane's answering machine. What, the footprints, maybe? Rating R+, mild nudity. Well, and sexual references as well, because the old Master Aposai going around stealing underwear and collecting them. Well, I guess, yeah, it's not kids' content in my opinion, anyway. He's a big perv, the guy. And actually, in the French translation, in the French dub that I used to watch when I was little, they pretended that he was stealing. How should I translate that? Lacy handkerchiefs. Yeah, there you go. Instead of underwear, stealing lacy handkerchiefs. And alcohol, any references to alcohol, it was always lemonade. Like, even in Maison Hikoku, well, which is not as perverted as Ranma One Half, whenever you saw them with, like, big mugs of beer or something like that with the foam and everything, they said it was lemonade. And when it was sake, it was orange juice or something like that. That looks nothing like the thing that they said it was, but they pretended that it was. And you could clearly see them acting all drunk and stuff, but no. It was always censored heavily in those years. They've come under heavy fire over the years for that, actually. But anyway, that's the history of anime in the French-speaking regions of Europe, anyway. What else should I have a look at now? Well, there's the brick, I guess. This is the brick that was used as a murder weapon, okay? So I had a look at the recording or something. You can find bricks like this all over the garden. They must have used one of them as a weapon. The body itself. Did I have a look at the body itself? Jack Cameron was a freelance journalist. He was killed because he witnessed the president's kidnapping. The blood really stands out in the recreation. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies. The camera. I should probably look at the camera as well. Even in the original photo, it looks brutal enough. A lot of blood was spilled. The back of his head is covered in blood. That must be where all the blood spilled from. Sometimes one's memories of a show can be distorted. You either block out things or had stuff that didn't happen. It's true as well, yeah. That's also true. According to the autopsy report, he was struck in the back of the head with a brick. Indeed, it's likely that the killer approached Mr. Cameron from behind. Is the victim holding something in the right hand? Showing games and memories from childhood. It's games especially. Actually, yesterday I was watching a video on YouTube about cancelled GameCube games, and I could have sworn that I read in a magazine that I still have here, that I saw that the magazine mentioned that Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind was announced for GameCube. I put the comment on YouTube, and then someone asked me, can you prove it? And I went and pulled out the magazine, and I could look for it. I couldn't find it. So, I was like, I must be having a Mandela effect, because I could swear that I've seen it in a magazine mentioned, but I can't find it. Or maybe I remembered it from that magazine, but maybe I saw it elsewhere, but I couldn't prove what I had said. So, I was a bit bummed by that, but, ah well. Because I'm pretty sure I've seen it. I mean, in my mind, I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but maybe I'm just misremembering. It's possible. That's also written in the case files. It seems he was holding onto a button. A button? Did he tear it off the culprit's clothes? Okay, add it to the evidence. Yeah, I did mention the camera. The victim was carrying a camera. Oh, according to the case files, it seems he only managed to take a single photo. Here it is. Does he remember what happened while she was having amnesia? What? He or she? Everything that happened while she was having amnesia. Well, she remembered everything from before, but I guess she remembers what happened when she didn't have her memories, when she was still wearing all the bandages and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess she remembers. Yeah. Isn't that the president? He's being held at gunpoint. This must be the scene the victim witnessed. How she said okay when Ray asked for a hug. Ah, that. Well, maybe she does. It's not mentioned. But she did say no when her memory came back, though. After her memory came back, he wanted a celebratory hug, and she said no. So the person in the coat must be the kidnapper. Indeed, it seems like some sort of disguise, if the logic of Agent Lang's father is correct. Then this person should be Patricia Rowland. But why is there only one photo? Perhaps he was killed before he could take any more. Cameron's photo data jotted down in my organizer. Isn't that everything? Or should I use logic, maybe? Nope. These don't go together. Then I must be missing something. Her memories were fuzzy, but she did remember. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Well, what about the footprints? Yeah, the flower, I already had a look at it. I already looked at the brick, the camera. What else is there then? No, we already had that. Yeah, I guess I have to finish examining the rest outside of the body itself. Yeah, stupid me. According to the data, this facility had 3 gardens. And each of these gardens contained 3 flower beds. Okay. The way these flower beds are lined up. Have I seen this arrangement somewhere before? Have we? Have we seen that arrangement somewhere before? I wonder. Since it was during the winter, there were no flowers in bloom. What a shame. What's this yellow flower? Huh? Why is there a single flower here? Well, we've already seen it. That is a lion lily. It's a very rare type of lily. Well, yeah, I guessed from the color that it had to be the same flower from the bouquet from before. Did you say lion lily? That's the flower Miss Courtney gave to the president. What's it doing here? Could it be just a coincidence? I doubt it is. If I recall, the lion lily originates from Asia. In the language of flowers, it means the bond between parent and child. I never knew you were so familiar with flowers. That much is common sense. You're simply lacking in your studies, Miles Edgeworth. It means angry attorney. Well, these two I can connect. No? What do you mean by that? Oh, wait, what? No, you don't mean. Because there were 3 footprints and 3 flower beds? Yeah, because, yeah, it makes sense because of the fact that the 3 footprints might be exactly where the flower beds were. And if he was digging something up, he might have dug up something that he buried at the time 12 years prior. And that would be why he needed a jackhammer to break the concrete. Is that the reason why the concrete was broken? Because the set where they were filming is right next door to where the orphanage was, so... True nature. Compare the positions of the 3 footprints and the 3 flower beds on the left. The exposed areas of dirt match the areas where the flower beds were. Oh, so they were not hooves marks at all? Because they fit with the shapes. So Blaze dug holes in front of where each of the 3 flower beds used to be. Exactly. Now, why would he do such a thing? If he buried something there 12 years prior, then I believe we have a piece of evidence that tells us why. This one? Oh wait, wait. You know, can't be that one, can it? You just connected it. Well, yeah, it works, but I couldn't figure out what exactly the reason was. Yeah, the 2 people were connected to one another, weren't they? The report from Patricia Rowland to Blaze the Best, it said that something was laid to rest in front of the flower bed. Yeah, it was written in it. So Blaze was following Mr. Rowland's instructions to dig it up. Actually, let me read it again. Yeah, I'm all but certain there is a connection between Knightley and Dugan. Dugan's chess partner, whose identity remained unknown until now, was actually Knightley all along. This is proof enough. Tomorrow I shall interrogate him in the warden's office. I'll get him to confess that he's one of Dugan's henchmen. That thing he laid to rest in front of the flower bed 12 years ago, you simply must retrieve it. It wasn't the same thing indeed, yeah. It was not the hoof mark, obviously. But why would he dig up 3 holes? Maybe he didn't remember which one, yeah. The report didn't state which of the 3 flower beds of the item was in front of. Also, Blaze didn't know exactly where to dig. That's why he had to dig up all 3 spots. Most likely, yes. I'm sure Blaze himself was not too happy about that. We went through all that trouble. I wonder what he was trying to dig up. And did he manage to find it in the end? What do you want? John, I'd like you to tell me the exact details of your kidnapping. You were kidnapped at the garbage pickup area, right? Why'd you go there? You don't have to act as a go-between. I can just talk to the old man directly. So he says. Looks like he's finally starting to warm up to you. I went to the garbage pickup to throw away the flowers I found on the body. It was nearby and I thought it'd be harder to find there than if I just tossed them in a trash can. I went there last night too, but the gate was locked. And that's why you went there again today, to dispose of them. Yeah, but when I got there, someone suddenly grabbed me from behind. And used sleep easies on you, right? Catching Z's is now super easy with sleep easies. Even though she was also a victim to it, she seems to have taken the liking to the slogan. Whoever grabbed me was really strong, but that's all I know. I have no idea who it was. I see, so that's what happened. After the drugs wore off, did you notice anything about your surroundings? Those drugs were brought to you by Sleep Easies. Catching Z's is now super easy with Sleep Easies. Oh, come on. It was kinda cold when I woke up. I was in a dark, empty room. Boxes with foreign writing on them were lying around, so I figured I was in a warehouse. The whole place was like a giant refrigerator. It was a commercial warehouse. That's right, John was rescued thanks to the collective efforts of Kay and Detective Gumshoe. Since it was still a bit cold, the cooling unit's power must not have been cut for too long. For some reason, they didn't think to take my phone, so I used it to call for help. I see. In any case, it's good that you're safe and sound, John. I don't need your fake sympathy, old man. What an incorrigible child. He's just like a certain someone I know. What about you, lady? You gonna talk now? Please ask me anything you wish. You have my heartfelt thanks for bringing John back. Oh, even the thought of him not coming back makes me... Hey, old man, don't bully my mom. No, that wasn't my intention. Ooh, look at him go, mommy's little knight in shining armor. He's so cool. It's not like that. Quit blabbering stupid stuff about me. John, please wait. May I proceed, Mr. Edgeworth? My actions were unbecoming of one who calls herself a servant of the goddess of law. I won't ask for forgiveness. However, Judge Courtney, I am not as well acquainted with the goddess of law as you are. However, isn't that goddess also a mother of other gods? The law makes exceptions for extenuating circumstances. It understands a mother's heart. I'd say perhaps your goddess sympathizes with you more than you think. Mr. Edgeworth, I don't get it. What the heck are you two blabbering about? It's okay, John. I don't have a clue either. It seems the dust has settled on day 1 of Patricia Rowland's trial. Yes, while a decision has yet to be reached, I would say a guilty verdict is quite likely. I'm sure a thorough investigation into her connection with Blaze will be conducted as well. After seeing Sebastian today, I know we can put our faith in him. Just like Kay, Sebastian is also in the midst of training for the future ahead. I see. When you say it like that, I guess we have more in common than I thought. I said a few mean things to him, so the next time we meet, I'd like to apologize to him. I'm sure you will get your opportunity, but for now... Yes, at present, solving this case is our top priority. Okay, well... That didn't bring much. There's a lot of people around, that's for sure. This has mostly melted, but it appears to be a snowman. It has a scarf and a hat and must have melted since it was dressed so warmly. The poor thing has even lost one of the buttons that was used for his eyes. Courtney turned out to be a great fellow. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought at first. Well, certainly not me anyway. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Once a snowman melts, even if it freezes up again, it becomes an iceman instead of a snowman. What? Is that what she was expecting me to say? This bear-shaped igloo is both cute and scary at the same time. I hereby declare this a bear glue. It looks as though this igloo could fit 3 people inside. Yeah, I bet you could live up to 3 years in this bear glue. 3 years? What about the summertime? The igloo would melt. Mr. Edgeworth, say that again. Say that one more time. The igloo would melt. What was that about? What was that about? I don't get it. This pillar appears to be burned. According to the files, it seems there was a fire on the evening of the incident. A fire? Let's see here. It says that one of the children at the orphanage spilled kerosene and set it on fire as a prank. I guess that kid had far too much energy. And thanks to that, we can't make out any of the footprints near the main hall. To me, it looks like it could hold at most a third of a person instead of 3. Well, I guess it was built by kids for kids. What a scoop, would you look at that? Those folks have done turned green. Maybe they're sick or something. But their clothes are green too. Well, I'll be. Their clothes are all green too. I reckon this ain't no ordinary disease. You picked up on something good. Looks like you're taking it to the next level. Yes, Chief. Looks like there's no way we'll be getting a word in. Me and my friend could fit into an igloo that size when we were kids. Well, I probably could have as well. Because in school there was a big field right next to the school where we were allowed to play, and when it snowed, well, there was a lot of snow for us to build igloos and the like. Actually, the teachers would help us build like huge walls of snow. It was a lot of fun. Me and my friend could fit into an igloo that size. Yeah. Yeah, I already read that. Tired really. Scruffy, don't you dare say a word. I'm warning you. Eek, Mr. Edgeworth. Please help me, sir. What is it, Detective Gumshoe? It's about the story behind this Ss5 incident, sir. Even though Blaze may have lost his authority, there was no way you can get confidential documents this quickly. That got me curious, so I made a few calls and asked around. And I found out that Ms. Von Karma used all sorts of forceful tactics too. Scruffy, I thought I warned you. Aye. You've done a lot for us, Francisca. I promise I will bring this to an end with my own hands. Wait, is there something in logic maybe that I can put together? Nah, that's not it, is it? Nah, no, okay. Yeah, no, okay. Hey, wait, they said that I had to look at the footprints. Maybe I need to look at the footprints? Ah, yeah, there we go. The footprints here seem to be to lead to and from the body. These footprints were believed to be the culprits. The shoe size is about a size 7, which that's fairly average. It seems we won't be able to tell who the culprit is from these footprints. These footprints stop near the body. Your dad helped my friend and I build the one we made as children, but our snow-loving dog ate some of it and then jumped into it. Yeah, you kind of have to compress it as much as you can to make it hard, otherwise it will break easily, that's for sure. These footprints stop near the body. She used to eat my snowman too. That's weird, actually. I've never heard of a dog doing that. They must be Mr. Cameron's footprints. He sure has some big feet. They look like size 11. According to the data, his shoes match these footprints. Okay. Well, there's one I haven't talked to yet. 3 flower beds and snow. Agent Lang, what's the matter? Something strange. I wasn't able to read the Ss5 Incident case files until now, since Blaze had all access to that information restricted. Yeah, that's right, and yet I feel like I've seen this exact scene somewhere before. What do you mean? Where did I see this? If I could just remember. He looks deep in thought. I should leave him alone for a while. We've learned pretty much all that we can about the situation at the time of the murder. Oh, okay, well, there we go. Oh, in that case, is there another scene you'd like to recreate? Would you do me the honors? I would like you to recreate the scene when the victim witnessed the president's kidnapping. This chapter is pretty long. I've been at it for already 2 hours or thereabouts. Right, I'll recreate the scene based on Mr. Cameron's photo. Mr. Cameron is standing in the middle of the flower beds. And the president and his kidnapper are standing on the road. My old man based his initial investigation on this man's eyewitness testimony. As a result, it led him to believe that the kidnapping and this facility were related. And that's how he came to suspect the head of the orphanage, Patricia Rowland. Yeah, but in court, Blaze the Best treated this testimony as if it meant nothing. Why would he do that? Indeed! The president and his kidnapper were not standing inside the orphanage grounds, so a connection between the orphanage and the kidnapping was difficult to prove. I see. It's not like they were seen inside the orphanage after all. No matter how much evidence the detectives gather at the crime scene, it doesn't mean squat if the prosecutor won't use it in court. Blaze the Best had some kind of connection with Patricia Rowland. If I figure they had some kind of deal going on. In other words, you think that Blaze was one of the kidnappers. Blaze had Patricia found not guilty. Were they partners in crime? Was he a kidnapper? However, your father was convinced that Patricia Rowland was the culprit. Your father was a highly capable investigator, I presume? Might he have had some other basis for his conclusion besides the eyewitness testimony? Yeah, I figure he did, but I have no idea what it was. My old man never really talked much about this case. Agent Lang's father, Dai Long Lang, President Wong's most trusted confidant. The truth he discovered was suppressed by Blaze the Best. First, we must find that hidden truth. Moment of the incident, okay. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking crook and granny. Teachun Wong. 12 years ago, he was still the president of Zhengfa. Doesn't he seem a bit younger? Though it might be hard to tell since it's so dark. Indeed. And with the situation being what it was, his facial expression seems a bit strange. I wonder where the president was taken after this. We don't know that yet. However, if the answer to that question lies here, it should become clear when we continue the investigation. There is a handprint on the snowman. When we recreated the scene where Mr. Cameron was killed, it had already melted. Its scarf was all soggy and one of its button eyes was missing. I already have a button eye here, actually. Yeah, that one. Indeed, at this stage it appears that most of its original form was still intact, although there is one spot that looks unnaturally lacking. Poor thing, I bet some naughty kid must have plucked it off. Although from a thief's perspective, that kid does have some promise. Was it plucked off by one of the children at the orphanage? No, perhaps it was taken by an entirely different person altogether. Ah, I can deduce now, okay. Deduce. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? It looks like someone slapped the poor snowman. Yeah, a slap in the face. The snowman, wouldn't you say it's missing something? Its right eye is missing. Precisely, and what's more, that missing eye happens to be in our possession and was found in the hand of the victim. That button that Mr. Cameron was holding on to, it's got the exact same design as the snowman's left eye. If we assume this button was indeed the snowman's eye, a huge contradiction arises. If this button is the snowman's eye, what contradiction arises? The location of the victim, the location of the snowman? I'd say the location of the victim. Right? Right? The victim was holding onto the button. Furthermore, the button was stained with blood. In other words, he grabbed the button after he was attacked. For example, if we were to picture it in this way, after being struck in the back of the head, Mr. Cameron lost his balance. As he was falling, he reached out his hand towards the nearby snowman. However, it could not support his weight, and he collapsed while still grasping the button. Huh? That means Mr. Cameron was near the snowman when he was attacked? Indeed, at the very least, he must have been within arm's reach. However, it's quite clear that he would not have been able to reach it from his current position. But Mr. Cameron's footprints only led towards the flower bed. Can we be certain that these footprints really are Mr. Cameron's? It seems we'll need to investigate them one more time. Understood. I'll recreate the time the body was discovered scene one more time. These footprints should match up with Mr. Cameron's shoes, right? Let's inspect them again. Yeah, before that though, it just occurred to me that these two must be going together. The snowman slapper must be brought to justice. Because that's an unforgivable crime. If we suppose that Blaze was one of the kidnappers, it becomes more likely that what he dug up yesterday is connected to the abduction. And sentenced to 2 lives in prison. What is it? I figured it out. It was treasure! Treasure! Couldn't Blaze have dug up the ransom money? The $100 million ransom? Buried in the ground until the heat had died down? It's certainly possible. I know, right? Yeah, look at all the grannies. These shoes should match the footprints. However, these shoes, it seems like they were not the ones originally worn by the victim. What do you mean? If you look closely, you'll see the laces were tied up strangely and the size doesn't seem to fit quite right either. didn't belong to Cameron. Culprit likely placed the shoes on the victim's feet after he had died. That would mean these huge footprints leading up to the victim's feet were most likely made by someone other than the victim. So then, the footprints leading to and from the victim's head must be Mr. Cameron's. No, not necessarily. They seem a little too small to be the victim's footprints. So none of the footprints are his. Then which way did Mr. Cameron walk from? It's quite simple. The victim did not walk here on his own accord, but rather he was carried here after he was murdered by the culprits. The body was moved. The question now becomes, where was he killed and carried from? Perhaps it was near the snowman after all. Mr. Cameron's body was moved. If we consider the button he was holding onto, it's highly likely that he was killed near the snowman. I should take a closer look. Yeah, look at the grannies, yeah. Oh, wait. Look at this. There's a brick missing here. Aha. The rest are all in order. It's strange that only this one is missing. Didn't I have something about the brick in there as well? Yeah, missing brick, yeah. This is where the murder weapon came from. Perhaps this missing brick was the one used as the murder weapon. Yeah, it seems to be just the right size to fit in that gap perfectly. It's actually a fun little detail that the snowman is sad looking while he is melted. Yeah, I did think about that as actually. It has a sad face. As I thought, it seems the murder actually occurred near the snowman. Both the button Mr. Cameron was holding and the murder weapon came from there. Indeed, also if you assume that the killer picked up the brick near the snowman and then tried to sneak up behind Mr. Cameron. Oh, Mr. Cameron totally would have seen the person picking up the brick. Exactly. Okay, please update the recreation. Mr. Cameron was not in the middle of the flower beds, but near the snowman. Okay, I'm on it. No matter how you look at it, this is strange. All the people involved in the case are gathered in the same place. Did we make a mistake here or something? One piece of evidence this recreation is based on is odd. If I had to choose which piece of evidence is fake, the photo that shows where the president was. Because the evidence at the scene shows how everything happened, but the photo says the contrary or something. Was this photo really taken by Mr. Cameron? Hey, what do you mean? We have proven that whoever killed Mr. Cameron also moved the body. For what reason would they have to deliberately move his body? Perhaps the culprit wanted to falsify the scene that Mr. Cameron witnessed. And that's why they took a fake photo. They made the president stand under the street light and took a photo with Cameron's camera. Cameron's camera. It would have been quite simple, now that you mention it. Mr. Cameron's camera only had one photo on it, right? Indeed, in all likelihood, the original roll of film had been removed from the camera. And after loading a new roll of film into the camera, the fake photo was taken. I see. So this photo must have been taken after Mr. Cameron was killed, right? I'm tired of being tired. Exactly, this was not the scene Mr. Cameron actually witnessed. It's likely that this photo is forged evidence. Then, where did Mr. Cameron witness the president and his kidnapper? The photo isn't the only piece of evidence that indicates what Mr. Cameron witnessed. Ah, the testimony you left on the answering machine. Set the tire. Nice one, Jeff. Nice one. Nice one. Me, Cameron's cameras, camera. Mr. Cameron's cameras, camera. Precisely, we should listen to the recording one more time and confirm what was said. Where else could the president and his kidnapper have been? Eureka! I don't know. Where the fire took place? Mr. Cameron set this on the answering machine. The light just went off. I can barely see a thing now. What's Mr. Cameron's favorite Pokemon? I don't know. What is it? Zapdos? No. I don't know. Camerupt? Yeah. Yeah, that one. Actually, I forgot about that one. There are only two places where the lights are broken. The light by the orphanage. Okay, could you please update the recreation? Roger. Gotta change over to your computer. Your phone keeps trying to autocorrect things that shouldn't be corrected. Okie dokie. This is so the kidnapper was near the orphanage. Indeed. With this, we've shown the connection between the orphanage and the kidnapping. So that's why they moved the body and took a fake photo to create false testimony, in order to remove any suspicions towards the orphanage in court. With this, the state of the recreation has changed completely. The time the body was discovered, scene has probably been greatly impacted as a result. And let's go check it out right away. Preparations are ready. Since the state of the recreation has changed once again, I should press the Y button and select Change Recreation. Let's give it a try. So you want to recreate the scene based on the police investigation data? This is the time the body was discovered, when the police were investigating the scene. I've recreated the scene, okay. I won't rest until I've had a look at all the crooks and grannies. The blood splatter above the snow. There certainly was a substantial amount. It's almost as if the murder was actually committed here. But Mr. Cameron should have been attacked near the snowman. Exactly. In that case, this blood must belong to someone else. What? But the police report said this was Mr. Cameron's blood. The one in charge of this case was Blaze the Best. It would have been simple for him to falsify that information. But wouldn't it be faster to just clean up the bloodstain rather than falsify the information? He wouldn't be able to do that. Think about it. Blaze knew that Mr. Cameron's body would be discovered here, in which case the forensic department would naturally become involved. That's why the body was moved in the first place. A luminol reaction, they would have discovered it with the power of science. Precisely, it would have been difficult to completely erase all traces of the blood. However, falsifying the results of a blood test would be much easier in comparison. It would just have to switch the results from the forensic reports. Oh, what a bummer. Knowing those documents I read were falsified. It looks like Mr. Cameron's clothes were completely soaked in blood. If the blood scattered here got onto Cameron's clothes, that would mean at the time the bloodstains here had not dried yet. I see, so then this certain somebody's blood was splattered here just a short while before Mr. Cameron was murdered. Indeed, that's exactly right. However, if that's the case, wouldn't a new contradiction arise in this recreation? Yeah, there was a fire. Shouldn't it have dried quickly if there was a fire? You mean this bloodstain? Do you see how this bloodstain is broken up by the remains of the fire? This is proof that the fire occurred after the blood has scattered around the area. But I thought the fire occurred before the murder. It seems that information is suspect as well. If the fire had broken out after the murder, then the child who started the fire should have seen the body and the bloodstains. Why then did they not come forward as a witness? It's likely that would have put Blaze at a great disadvantage. Guess we'll need to investigate this fire in more detail. Is it possible? It's an orphanage. The fire would have... the kid would have had to be, well, not too young, but not too old either. Courtney would have had to be 13 at the time. Could she have been the kid? Is this her connection to the president, and is this what she refused to talk about? Hey you, yes sir, there should be some records of the fire in the police department under a different case file. I want you to bring me every last investigation report about the fire. Understood, Shifu. Oh, and one more thing. What is it, sir? Contact the House of Lang in Zengfa. There should be evidence from this case in my old man's room. Yeah, and about Courtney, I guess if she adopted the kid from this place, you're gonna be right back. Yeah, okay. Ah, Big Brain Rudy. I thought you meant BRB, but you spelled it wrong or something. And I was gonna say, if she grew up in that orphanage, once she was grown up, she might have wanted to adopt a kid from the orphanage as well. What do you mean? I just remembered why I recognized the scene. A long time ago, I saw a picture in my old man's room. It was a drawing resembling this scene. What did you say? However, I think it looked like something a child drew. A child? Then the artist may have been the culprit behind the fire. It should still be somewhere in my old man's room. If it says Justine on it, we'll have the proof. Have them send it over here. Understood, sir. Ah, we're finally done with this place. Okay. Shifu, I'm back. I've brought the info on the fire the kid started and a photo of the drawing in your father's office. And also... Oh, I've been waiting for this. Hurry up and hand them over. The information held by Agent Lang's father. There's no signature. Is that Dogen? With a black dog and a knife and wearing the same kind of clothes and the same lack of hair? This is it. It's exactly what I remembered. This was the picture drawn by the child, depicting the night of the incident. It sure looks like it was drawn with a child's touch. Same lack of hair. Well, yeah. It's a defining trait, don't you think? As I thought, the one who drew this is most likely the child who started the fire. Shifu! What now? Sorry, but it's gonna have to wait. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Why do you think my old man had this? Perhaps he obtained it during the course of his investigation into the incident. Although I don't know why he would have concealed it. Agent Lang, might I be able to see the details of the fire? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Allow me to read it post-haste. What does it say? I was a boy. Okay. So, yeah, not a girl. The boy who started the fire snuck out of bed on the night of the incident. It seems this boy went missing several days later. What? Don't tell me that he witnessed something he shouldn't have. That's horrible. He was only a child after all. While I'd hate for that to be the case, we can't rule out the possibility entirely. Well, that can't be John. He's only 13, so he would have been 1 year old at the time. Apparently the boy left some stuff behind at the orphanage and it was taken as evidence. What's this? It's the missing horn from the Mozilla doll. What's that doing here? Mr. Prosecutor, do you recognize this? Yes, I know one piece of evidence that's related to it. Yeah, the Mozilla doll. Nope, not that. Yeah, this one.
Take that!
And it belongs to the president, actually. I don't know what it's doing here. But isn't that the missing horn from this Mozilla doll? No way! You mean this came off the president's? You know of it? Yeah, I've noticed the president kept it close by as a decoration. I always thought it was strange how one of the horns was missing. If you twist the horn, this doll will play back any previously recorded audio. Maybe if you twist the other horn, it's gonna play back another piece of recorded audio. What do you think? So if we put the missing horn back in place, we might be able to hear a different recording. Ah, there we go. Yeah, indeed, it is possible. The doll is currently on the 51st floor of the Grand Tower. Hey, you heard that, right? Yes, sir. I'll be right back. This case has a really thick plot. There is a lot going on in it. It's kind of hard to follow, actually. At times, I have a hard time remembering all the bits and pieces of evidence from all the different cases that come to blend with one another. It's not easy. Shifu, I've got it. The mighty Mozilla doll. Well done. Give it to the prosecutor over there. If we insert the horn found at the orphanage into the doll... It's a perfect fit! Well, can you hear anything? All the grannies, yeah. Mr. Wong, it's Amy. It's been a while. I saw the news that you would be coming to this country. I was really nervous about doing this, but I decided to send you a message. Please stop the playback. Judge Courtney? It was a certain Amy, or Amy. It's not Justine or Courtney, so... What's wrong? Stop it now! It's a boy. You're a son. He's just been born. I'm sorry. That's all I wanted to tell you. His name is John. John Marsh. It's a fine name for him, don't you think? Ah! Marsh? Did she say John? I'll be waiting in the courtyard of the orphanage at midnight on February 9th. Even if it's just once, I want John to be able to meet you. I'm sorry if I'm being selfish, but I'll be waiting. No way, that was my... John! What's the meaning of this, Miss Courtney? John is... Yeah, not your biological son, yeah. Actually, when it was said that the president was the father, I was like, wait, he didn't impregnate her when she was 13, did he? Because that would have been really messed up, but thankfully no. Okay. He's adopted. Well, yeah, I kinda guess it made more sense that way anyway. He didn't drop a flower with her, is that what you say? Well, yeah. Did John know about this? Of course he knew. John's mother, Amy Marsh, passed away about 5 years ago. She and I were cousins. Ah, okay. I want John to meet you. He's 1 year old. You'll totally remember that. Yeah, that's true. Since we were young, we've always been really close. We were often mistaken for sisters. That's why when she passed away, I thought it was only natural that I look after John. Also, there were circumstances which prevented me from revealing his father's identity. I never even told John his father's name. And now it's all been revealed, thanks to the recording on that doll. And he saw the dead body of his father then. Wow, what a shock. Did John's mother send the doll to the president? Hey, John, was he, the president, really my dad? Yes, he was. Before you were born, Amy worked as a diplomat in Zhengfa. A diplomat, so that must be how she became acquainted with President Wong. Hang on, didn't you tell me she worked at the orphanage? Yes, after returning to this country, Amy left her job as a diplomat. She always had great passion for charity work, so she began working at the orphanage. Not so fast! Hey, Miss Courtney. So this Amy girl, she called the president there herself, but She never showed up at the scene of the Ss5 incident. What's with that? She was killed, maybe. Maybe it was her blood that they were trying to conceal. Amy couldn't make it. Apparently, someone had been following her the whole night. Perhaps it was Blaze. I can't say for certain, but it's possible. No, if she died 5 years ago, not 12 years ago, it couldn't have been her blood then. Unless she was hurt, but I guess no, that it doesn't make sense. No, okay, my bad. Yeah, put 2 and 2 together, Rudy. Come on, follow. Keep up with the story. I can't say for certain, but it's possible that it was his doing. After that, Amy never got another chance to see the president again. So she died 5 years ago. This conversation must be painful for John. Oh, right. Hey, John, you thirsty? How about I buy us both some juice? We can go together, so you don't have to listen to the obviously sordid story that concerns you. I'm a part of this too. I'll listen until the end. Besides, I can afford to buy my own juice. Oh, shot down by a kid. John, do you understand the reason I met with the president 2 days ago? Well, it's starting to make a bit more sense. It was related to John being his son and maybe meeting him for the first time or something like that. The secret meeting from 2 nights ago. I wanted to tell him about Amy's death and that you were alive and well. Hold on. Yeah, it's getting hard to follow. Yeah, but yeah, cases from this game and from other games start to intertwine, yeah. It brings everything together and it gives meaning to everything. I mean, it's cool. It's just a bit hard to follow. I see, that's why you couldn't tell us your reasons for meeting with the president until now. I get it, you would have had to reveal his connection with John. I brought a bouquet of lion lilies, so that you would understand I truly did know about Amy. Those flowers are a dear memory to the president and Amy. The first present she received from the president was a bouquet of lion lilies. But now even he has passed away. If only he were still alive, perhaps I could have introduced him to John. I'm a boy. I don't cry. Shifu, I'm sorry to interrupt this atmosphere, but there's something I need to say. Oh, what is it now? Can't this wait? We're in the middle of an emotional scene here. Well, actually, there's one last item that's been delivered here from Zengfa. I have here the president's will. What? His will? My old man received a great number of special medals from the president himself. As a token of his trust, the president left his will in the protection of the Lang clan. Those medals and that will, they were the pride of our clan, our family treasures, so to speak. This is... Agent Lang, does that will have something to do with the current case? You bet it does. It says here, I hereby acknowledge John Marsh as my own son. What? John's name is in the president's will? Are you certain that will was written by the president? Yeah, he entrusted it to the Lang clan even before the Ss5 incident took place. They'll have to appraise it back home, but by the name of the Lang clan, this is the real deal. Wong was the president of an entire nation. The existence of his son would have caused considerable controversy. However, he left behind the will just in case. I don't get it. Was he married to someone else? Was it an illegitimate child or something like that? I mean, What's the deal? He had a kid. Big deal. It's his right, isn't it? Why considerable controversy? Unless he was already married to someone else or something. He left behind a will just in case. This makes it doubly sure. I still can't believe it myself, but there is no room for doubt. John Marsh, you are the son of teacher Wong, president of Zengfa. John! John! Ah, to be continued. That was a long chapter. Outside Grant Tower temporary film lot. John. So that guy was my dad. He found out about his own birth so suddenly, and furthermore, his newfound father is no longer in this world. I'd always been searching for my dad. John, I get it alright. He's the president. I know it's a complicated situation. But we even met face to face during the filming. So then why, huh? Why didn't he tell me who he really was? I'm sorry, John. Mom, you don't need to apologize. No matter how you look at it, it's all my fault. Yesterday I broke my promise with you and didn't even notice the fire on the roof. So I destroyed everything. I crushed it all. My dad. And those flowers that my mom carefully grew. John, please, for now, just don't think about anything. Just stay like this for a little while. Just for a little while. Okay? The bond between the parent and child. That's the meaning behind lion lilies. I know it's not my style, but that flower is from Zengfa. However, we have no means of protecting that bond. Agent Lang, allow me to say this. The case won't be solved by sentimentality alone. Therefore, shouldn't we do all that we can to solve it? Yeah, you're right. The recreation of the past has finished. Were your father's deductions correct? My old man took his deductions to the grave. He never told anyone about them. So who knows if they were right or not? In that case, what about your own deductions? I would like to hear what you think happened based on the recreation, in order for us to get closer to the truth of 12 years ago. Yeah, I was thinking it's about time. I can see it now. My old man's back, real close. I'll catch up to him, for sure. To the truth that my old man uncovered. Truth of the Ss5 Incident. There is no mistake that the president went to the orphanage. The stuffed toy is proof of that. He was planning to meet with Amy Marsh. A child out of marriage is still quite hard for some people to understand, and then it's a child between the president and a diplomat. Yeah, the latter part might be what would have caused the controversy. Yeah, maybe. That's true. I didn't think of the latter part, yeah. I guess for maybe foreign relations and stuff like that, yeah. I can understand how that might have been complicated. The stuffed toy is proof of that. He was planning to meet with Amy Marsh. However, the president was kidnapped and Cameron just happened to witness it. If Cameron hadn't been there, it probably would have just been a kidnapping but no murder. Afterwards, the body was moved to the flower beds and a fake photo was taken. Was that what really happened 12 years ago? They were updated. However, there's one thing I still don't get. Something you don't get. It's this. Why did they need to take a fake photo? Why would they go through all that trouble and even make the president take part in the photo? That's true. However, the answer to that riddle must lie somewhere within. Once we get past the layers upon layers of deductions, we shall surely reach it. Yeah, that's right. I'd like to hear your deductions as well. stuffed toy is proof of that. He was planning to meet with Amy Marsh. However, the president was kidnapped. Cameron just happened to witness this. If Cameron hadn't been there, it probably would have just been a kidnapping with no murder. But what about that other pool of blood then? Well, actually... No, that's not it. No, okay, no, never mind. Nowadays, it's almost common that people have children before marriage, so I tend to also forget that what it was like years ago. Yeah, but still, even if you think that the game took place in like, I don't know, 2003 or thereabouts, and you go back 12 years prior to that, to 1991, I don't think people would have been shocked by that at that time. Not really. I mean, I don't think so anyway. Well, this takes place in Japanifornia, so maybe it's a bit different over there, I don't know. Maybe it would be considered a bit more shameful over there, I don't know. It's clearly a pathetic bluff. So that was wrong. Let me go back. No, it's not that. But there it is. I was looking for something with blood in it. Agent Lang, it seems there's... No, that's not it. What about the blood stain? Come on. But that's because I didn't present it at the right time. Hold on. Yeah, no, I thought it was this thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay. If the eyewitness Cameron had not been there, no murder would have taken place. Is that really the case? The criminal's goal was only to kidnap the president. If there were no witnesses, there would have been no need to commit murder, right? Well, but there was also blood belonging to someone else, wasn't there? What if Cameron wasn't the only one who was murdered? But I thought this was already established. Why do we need to establish this now? Thought it was obvious. There was a large bloodstain near the flower beds. However, Cameron was murdered near the snowman. Ergo, this bloodstain could not have belonged to Cameron. Someone else's blood was spilled, and quite a vast amount at that. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, do you have any idea what you're saying? I do. It's hard to believe, however. That is what the evidence indicates. On that night 12 years ago, there were 2 murders. Are you saying that the other murder was covered up? Who? Just who the heck could have been killed? A murder that was cleverly concealed. All traces of it were erased. And the incident itself was completely deleted from the case files. However, there's one thing. One piece of evidence that still remains intact after 12 years. Is it the fact that, It's the night of the incident. Well, yeah, there was this person 12 years ago, but he's not dead, though. That guy is not dead, though. The other murder incident was buried in the dark by Blaze the Best. However, there is still one piece of evidence that remains. Agent Lang, it survived by your father's hands. My old man, you say? Please recall. There was one more thing that was hidden along with the traces of the murder. And that is the existence of the boy who caused the fire. Why did Blaze make the boy disappear? It's because he saw something that he wasn't supposed to see. What was the thing he wasn't supposed to see? Everything is drawn in this picture. The drawing my old man had. The person drawn on the right is most likely the president. The Mozilla doll is also drawn near him. And the president standing opposite him is... Do I have him in my profiles, actually? Oh yeah, there he is. Well, to me, that's him. That's who that looks like. A man with a knife and a large black dog. He is none other than Siran Dogen. What? The assassin? Why would an assassin appear before a president? The answer is clear. Indeed, what occurred that night on the orphanage grounds 12 years ago was not a kidnapping. It was a presidential assassination. Was he really assassinated? Who's the other president then? Then Mr. Roland and Mr. Is that why when he is in his like real appearance, he's not all muscular looking and his cheeks are all dangling and stuff like that? Because it's actually another person? Then Miss Roland and Mr. Blaze were... Yes, the two were likely partners in crime. One furnished the orphanage to use as the scene of the incident, and the other covered up the young boy's testimony. It's likely that Mr. Cameron was murdered because he witnessed the assassination itself. After all, the kidnapping never actually happened. Stop messing around. You're saying that the president was assassinated 12 years ago? We just found his body today. He's been alive up until now. I don't know. That's right. I mean, we met him ourselves. If the president was assassinated 12 years ago and the president's body was found today, that would imply there were two presidents. Yeah, I guess. That can't be right. Are you sure about that? There is the possibility that there were two presidents. That's right. Up until now, I've been getting a strange feeling from the president. I still respect the man. Zhengfai is a small country, but he carried the nation with his strength. The image of the President Wong that Agent Lang described. You are wrong. He revealed his true form. Well, yeah. Differs far too greatly from the President Wong we knew. It's as if they were two entirely different people. If there were, in fact, two Zhengfa presidents. Exactly how would such a scenario be possible? Well, what would make the existence of the two presidents possible? The victim looked like the president. The president had a twin brother. One of them was a body double. Hasn't that been mentioned at some point, that he uses body doubles or something like that? I think that might have been mentioned at some point. I don't know why, but it seems like this is something that was mentioned at one point. If we were to assume that one of them was a body double, wouldn't it be possible then? A body double. President Wong possessed immense power and authority. They said a long time ago that he had body doubles. Shelly said it? Yeah. It's something that you have to really cast your mind back, because a lot of information is given to you, and it's kind of hard to pick up on what's important and what's not. So yeah, I had that at the back of my mind, but I didn't really consciously remember it. And sometimes I misremember stuff, so President Huang possessed immense power and authority in Zhengfa. I'm sure there were those who envied his position and made attempts on his life. So he was like Saddam Hussein. Yes, just as he was attacked a few days ago at Gourd Lake. It's true, there were those who sought Huang's life from time to time. But I can't easily believe there were two presidents, at least not without any evidence. Do I have evidence that there were two presidents? Yeah, hold on. What, he was kidnapped, so he could have easily been replaced by someone? Is that what they want? Memories can't be trusted fully. You can block things out and or add things that never happened. Yeah, do you have precedence that there were two evidence? The president had an appointment at midnight in the courtyard of the orphanage to meet with Amy March. Jack Cameron was a witness. His body seems to have been moved and a fake photo was taken to serve as evidence. President was kidnapped on February 10. Just as a security measure.
Take that!
Has Agent Lang not noticed this contradiction? Or has he noticed it but can't admit it? What is it, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't shout something out only to suddenly clam up. According to the recording, yeah, on the doll, the president visited the orphanage at midnight. However, that should not have been possible. Why is that? Why? Because at the time the president should have been at the embassy. He was together with Agent Lang's father. So Agent Lang, you really did notice. He was in two places at the same time. Ergo, there must have been two presidents. Then which of the two was the real president on that day 12 years ago? And who's to say that the person who died was really the president? Maybe it was another body double. Maybe? Most likely the one who died. Who contracted Dogen to murder Wong? In order to learn that, first, we must have a look at the evidence that we proved was false earlier. Yeah, the photo was proved false. This one. The photo taken with Cameron's camera was taken after he was murdered. And he was murdered because he witnessed the presidential assassination. In other words, the photo must have been taken following the assassination. Given that, who is the president picture in the fake photo? We must consider him to be the body double. In other words, the body double had the real president murdered and then took his place? That's sick, man. Patricia Rowland and Blaze must have cooperated in that plan. Hold it, Wong's body was never found. Maybe that's what the other guy who came back to bury, I guess. To, dig up, I should say. Just where could it have disappeared to? The answer to that is already quite apparent. Yeah, I guess, yeah, there's no other option. Last night there was something Blaze had to unearth with his own two hands. That item was not a ransom, it was something far more important. So Blaze unburied the real president's body. The possibility is quite high. What did you say? The bones from the body buried 12 years ago would have still remained. According to Mr. Powers, construction was to begin soon at the slot. That was the deadline, both for the movie and retrieval of the body. Because they would have found the body when they started the construction. Agent Lang, let us search the footprints that Blaze dug up. Yeah, if the body was buried there, there would be traces of it. Hey, somebody call forensics. I have the results of the search. We found traces in the dirt that suggest the body was buried here. So it was Wong after all? We also recovered the skeletal remains that Blaze the Best dug up. They were in his home. Aha. In addition to the bone structure, the dental records and the bone fractures all match up. We can confirm that it was indeed President Wong. So the real President Wong was indeed killed 12 years ago. The Ss5 incident was a murder. Monsters, footprints, data updated in my organizer. Yeah, okay. So the Ss5 incident was actually a murder incident. But there's so much information, it's way too confusing. You can say that again. It's meant to be, I think. Indeed, let us take this opportunity to review the details of the case. First, the real president came to the orphanage, right? 12 years ago. Damn, Blaze was hiding two kinds of bones in the closet. True President Wong visited the orphanage in his in order to meet his son. And his son, yeah. The footsteps in the snow that we thought belonged to Mr. Cameron were most likely that of the president, yeah? President Wong was supposed to meet his son here. However, the one who actually showed up was the assassin, Saran Dogan. He came here to meet his son, but was murdered instead. How horrible. A man like Dogan shows no mercy. And after that, the second tragedy occurred. You mean Mr. Cameron's murder? Indeed, Mr. Cameron saw the decisive moment. After the real president was killed by Dogan, his body was carried to the rear courtyard by the team of kidnappers. Mr. Cameron must have witnessed that moment from the orphanage entrance, although he himself believed that he had actually witnessed the kidnapping. Furthermore, by this time, the body double who had come to meet up with Blaze and Miss Rowland was already standing behind Mr. Cameron. And then the witness to the incident, Mr. Cameron, was killed by the body double. So was Mr. Cameron's corpse also carried by the body double? Yes, that seems likely. But there wasn't anything at the crime scene that looked like the body double's footprints. I will never forget the scene when Ray met Patricia and asked for a hug and got a kiss. Yeah. I've already figured out how he accomplished that. There is a piece of evidence that would have made it possible. What did the body double use to move the body without leaving any footprints? The victim's shoes, so has to not leave footprints that were actually his size.
Take that!
And then he did his surprised pose with sweats falling and said, "Uncle's lips." Yeah, Uncle's lips. That should become a meme. Uncle's lips. This is almost certainly how the body double carried Mr. Cameron's corpse. After Mr. Cameron was killed, the president's body double carried him into the middle of the garden. I suspect the body double was wearing the same shoes as the real president at the time. If he made sure to step precisely on top of the footprints left by the real president... since the shoes were the same, there would only be one set of footprints left behind in the snow. Yeah, but I've actually tried it once. It's extremely difficult to put your feet exactly where your old footprint was. I tried it just to see what it would look like once, and you can definitely tell that the same footprints were walked in twice. You can definitely tell, or the investigators were not doing their job properly if they didn't pay attention to that detail. Plus, you would have an even harder time if you were carrying a body. I mean, the guy was muscular and everything. You can say whatever you want, but it definitely affects your balance when you're carrying a body. But anyway, you're not meant to read into it that deeply. It's just a game. No matter how well written. I think I've got a pretty good grasp on the Ss5 incident now. But there's still one thing I don't get. What's that? Why did they need to stage the abduction? Hate when they leave off stuff like that. Because Mr. Cameron witnessed the incident, he saw the president at the orphanage. He left behind witness testimony on Miss Crane's answering machine. Even Blaze couldn't make that disappear. Ergo, the body double needed a reason for the president to have been at the orphanage. And that's why they prepared the fake kidnapping charade. The people in the fake photo are the body double, and most likely Patricia Rowland. The person in the coat is Miss Rowland? What makes you say that? Indeed. I mean, Blaze, Patricia, and the president were working together to destroy evidence and falsify the case. Well, yeah. it's true that even if it was noticeable, they might have been able to ensure that it didn't get noticed. Yeah. It only had to look, well, mostly normal to a casual viewing of the file, I guess. And only someone really digging deep into it would, someone impartial, not tied to them, would notice these incoherences. Still, I see your point on the shoe prints. Yeah, okay. The two would have to leave the orphanage in order to take the picture. Just like when he moved the body, the double used the real president's footprints. This is the fault of filthy casuals. So the second set of footprints must belong to the person in the coat. Indeed, we originally believed that those footprints belonged to Cameron's killer. Yeah, apparently the person who did that made no effort to walk in the same footprints again. They were size 7 footprints, too small for Blaze's feet. Thus, we can presume that the person playing the part of the kidnapper was Patricia Rowland. Hidden in the shadow of the presidential kidnapping was a presidential assassination. I see. So that's why my old man... Why he... what? The old man must have realized that a murder had taken place. After all, he had the kid's drawing. However, that picture was never presented as evidence. Your father likely took it from the young witness during the investigation and hid it. He had to have known that Wong was dead. But what if he had revealed that back then? Revealed the death of the president, the backbone of Zengfa? It would have caused chaos. And that's why my old man took the secret to his grave. He even took the blame for the kidnapping, knowing that would be the fall of the House of Lang. So this is the truth that Agent Lang's father hid 12 years ago. And now it's all become clear. Okay, Ss5 Incident case files updated in my organizer. Is that really the case, I wonder? Huh? What? Who's there? Is everyone in Zengfa ripped? Maybe they are. That bell, it's Dogen? What's he doing outside of prison? Saran Dogen! You, why are you here? How can you just brazenly show up here? Who do you think you are, pal? I found the conversation most intriguing and I just, well... Hey, are you feeling nostalgic about an old murder of yours? You're the one who killed Wong. Yeah. Nostalgia, I think not. Men, women, children, and animals, everyone is ripped as fuck. You were speaking about the person I am searching for. You're searching for someone? I escaped from prison in order to meet with a young acolyte. The one who wore the red raincoat. The red raincoat? Who is this person? I suspect that it's the same person as the mastermind you are searching for. Except Dogen, hence he is in prison. Well, I guess he's not anymore. Someone you've been searching for? The one in the red hood? The red hood? Don't they seem surprised, Anubis? Yes, they are, my boy. 12 years ago, this young... shit. You haven't seen under his clothes. What do you mean he's not anymore? Well, he's not in prison, I mean. He's here. He's right there. So he's not in prison right now. Certainly, it was I who killed President Wong. However, my life was... Yeah, he escaped prison. However, my life was also targeted on that day. The body double Blaze and Patricia all sought to seal my lips. Had I not been reunited with the young acolyte back then, I would have been in danger. But alas, even to this day, I do not know what has become of the young acolyte. He means an acolyte of his? Is it Shelly the Killer? Did he... like, was he this guy's disciple, maybe, or something? So your client was indeed the body double, who was the main perpetrator of the crime. It was a long time ago, but I remember his words even now. There have been countless attempts on my life, not just once or twice, countless. And yet, why must I be the only one? Yeah, that's what I would think, yeah. Like an apprentice of his, maybe. And who better to be an apprentice to an assassin than Shelly the Killer? That depends how old they are, I guess, both of them. I think I should have the... well, we don't know the age of Shelly the Killer, so it's gonna be hard to tell. Or his age, for that matter. Okay, they don't tell you. And I guess you could be an apprentice to someone younger than you as well. I mean, there's nothing to prevent it, so I believe Shelly said him and Dogen was something akin to arch enemies last time we met him. It's maybe I can't tell, actually. When I stand before the people, I garner the same respect as the President does. Tell me, just what is the difference between him and me? The difference was great, while the voice and style of speech may be the same. One can mimic the body, but the heart cannot be reproduced. I suppose his own weaknesses cost him in his quest to become a leader. Now that Rook's gone, I'm in charge. I'm not sure if you're as capable as Rook was. What are you saying? I'm totally the leader now. Perhaps the king and his knights were not so different after all. The double believed that the president's only weakness was a woman called Amy. To find the woman, he needed the assistance of someone from this country. So he joined forces with Blaze. After determining her whereabouts, he simply waited for the right opportunity. That chance came with the meeting at the orphanage. Indeed, the director of the orphanage was bribed and brought in as an accomplice. He must be referring to Patricia Rowland. Well, given what I've told you, do you realize the whereabouts of the young acolyte now? You mean the boy who saved you, but how do you know that he is the mastermind? The one who was a boy? That day, the young one caused a fire at the garden of the orphanage. Ah, you're talking about the kid who started the fire as a prank. Well, I guess someone who was a kid 12 years prior can't be older than, I don't know, assuming even if he was a teenager, he wouldn't be older than 30 years old now. That doesn't fit Shelly the Killer anyway. Yeah, but if it was a kid that started a fire, it had to be a kid that's already considerably grown up. I mean, a teenager or something like that, right? So 12 years later, that person must be at least, let's say, I don't know. Yeah, I'm referring to the kid, yeah. I don't know, anywhere between, yeah, 20 years old maybe at the youngest and 30 years old at the oldest. On that night 12 years ago, the young acolyte was hiding inside the igloo. It seems he witnessed Patricia and Blaze moving the body from his hiding place. Apparently he heard them talking during that time. Who is this? It would seem that they were planning to kill me because I knew the truth. He immediately came to the main hall to tell me that. I learned this about the young acolyte some time later. It seems he was wearing a red raincoat at the time. He led me out of the main hall. If it was an orphan, it wasn't Sebastian, was it? And then the young acolyte said he was going to get rid of our footprints. No, because I think he's only 17. Sebastian, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's 17. Nah, he would have been way too young. So he scattered some lamp oil near the igloo over the snow. Then he boldly set the oil ablaze. You want lamp oil? It's yours, my friend, as long as you have enough rupees. Even if you fit the age range. Ah, no way! So he set the fire in order to... All their focus was diverted towards the burning flames. I took the opportunity to escape through the rear exit. So the boy in the red raincoat is the mastermind behind this case. Well, yeah, even if he fit the age range, he wouldn't be a mastermind. Yeah, that's what you're going to say, I suppose. he's an idiot, so, exactly, isn't that right, Anubis? Yes, boy. Yes, it is. Dogen's savior. Dogen's savior. Just that is Sebastian. Yeah, right. Certainly it was I who killed President Wong. He's pure and innocent? Yeah, I guess so. But he's an idiot. Targeted on that day, the body double Blaze and Patricia all sought to seal my lips. Had I not been reunited with the young acolyte back then, I would have been in danger.
Hold it!
Who's the acolyte? Tell me! Reunited, so when did you first meet with him? That would be 18 years ago, on the 24th of September. Idiot, puppy, Sebastian. That is a rather long time ago. On that day, our roles were reversed. I saved the young one's life. 18 years ago? There was an unusual snowstorm on that day. The temperature was well below freezing. I took Anubis for a walk in the snow. No, it's Larry, actually. It's Larry Butts. Now, that would be funny, but that's very unlikely. That's when Anubis noticed something and started running. I followed after him and found the car. I had great difficulty opening the door. It had frozen shut. Hey, it's those two kids! The kids of, Dover and, Gustavia? Something like that? In the back seat, there were two young children shivering from the cold. One of them is tied. Two children? Had they remained in the car for an hour longer, they surely would have frozen to death. I brought the two of them to a nearby orphanage. Is there anything about Dogen's story that concerns me? Well, yeah, the Dover's kid would have been an orphan anyway, so yeah, I guess it makes sense. But Gustavia never really tried to find this missing kid, so I guess that makes sense in that way. Is there ever a time when you're supposed to choose nothing in particular? Yeah, sometimes, yeah. If you don't pick the right thing, yeah. If you don't pick the right thing to press or to present evidence on, yeah. Especially towards the end of the game. Because usually, early on in the game, when he asks you if there is something in particular, then yeah. There's a good chance that there is, otherwise they wouldn't ask. But when it's towards the end of the game, when things get a bit harder to figure out, they put fake stuff like that to sort of trick you into thinking that there is because they ask, but actually there isn't. But that's not the case here. I don't think so anyway. The number of children. There were two children in the car. You're sure of that? It may have been 18 years ago, but I remember it clearly. There were two children in the car. There is no mistaking it. Does the good prosecutor have a problem with that number? Right now, the number of children isn't what I have a problem with. Are we not talking about the subject yet? Oh, that wasn't it? What, the date? The 24th of December, 18 years ago. Are you sure about that? That's the night that Dover was killed, isn't it? Yeah, the Ss5 Incident. Could that mean? I know, the significance behind that date. The model of the car. I love when they put in stuff like that. Well, yeah, what would that have to do with anything? I mean, if maybe in another case in the game, sometime before, there was a case where the model of a car was mentioned specifically, you could be tricked into thinking that, but that's not even the case here, so, what shows the significance of the date? Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait, what? What? Hold on. So this is supposed to take place in 2018. The IS-7 case took place in 2000, they say, and that was 18 years prior. So this is supposed to be 2018, and they still use flip phones and VHS and that sort of thing. I mean, at first I thought, well, maybe if the games take place like in the past or something, in like 2003, yeah, okay, then I could still believe it. But apparently, this is taking place in 2018. Okay, well, I didn't know this until now, but there you go. That day a certain incident occurred. A sculpture was murdered. Pierre, okay. During that incident, 2 young boys went missing. I was wondering when this would be brought up because this was not explained. The sons of the victim, Isaac Dover, and the culprit, Dane Gustavia. We never did find out where those 2 boys went after the case 18 years ago. Oh, they were the sons of a victim and the culprit? It all makes sense now. What makes sense? One of the youth was bound so that he could not move. Mr. Dover did it so that Mr. Gustavia's son could come to the contest venue. The game was set in the future a bit, that's why there is stuff like Kay's Little Thief. They didn't think that phones would change so much in the future. I guess so, yeah. But I mean, well, I guess when things like the first 3 games were released, I guess you didn't really have DVD recorders at the time, so but come on, VHS was on its way out, so well, whatever. It's a parallel universe where VHS never really went away. Well, I guess HD VHS existed. It just wasn't a very popular format, but that existed. You could record in 1080i, I think, on VHS using specific tapes and specific equipment. Indeed, Gustavia was using his own son as a taste tester. Maybe they thought at the time that this would catch on. Maybe to think that was what transpired. Neither child seemed to recall what had happened. They lost their memories? The acolyte told me this when we were reunited 12 years ago. The pair were placed in an extreme situation on the verge of freezing to death. That trauma led them both to suffer from amnesia. Neither could so much as remember his own name. So they didn't even know that they were the sons of Mr. Dover and Mr. Gustavia. Indeed, while we cannot say it conclusively, the probability is quite high. However, we still don't have enough information to deduce the mastermind's identity. Dogen, would you please continue your story? Keh, very well. I think I can pretty much say that I'm not gonna be done with the case today. I think there's gonna be too much of the game left. I will probably have to finish playing this tomorrow, I think. I continued my correspondence with the young acolyte even after entering prison. Recently, that has all come to an abrupt halt, however. It left me quite concerned. Furthermore, those involved in the crime 12 years ago were all drawn into incidents one by one. I grew more and more curious and so I absconded briefly from the prison. Those involved 12 years ago were Patricia Rowland, Blaze the Best, and President Wong's body double. And Miss Rowland was the warden for Mr. Dogen's prison. Yeah, I blackmailed the warden. That woman had tried to kill me. Perhaps the good prosecutor has already deduced the reason. You murdered President Wong, however the world still believed he was alive. If you were able to prove the president was a fake. Also, you remember reading someone said Japan only changed more into iPhones look a few years ago. They still used flip phones, but of course the phones were more advanced than when I used to have a flip phone. Well, I guess that makes sense. When I was playing Steins Gate, for example, they still had phones that kind of looked like old-style flip phones, despite the fact that the game wasn't released, like, 15 years ago or something like that. Yeah, you remember, Jeff, right? They were sending emails from their phones, but they still kind of looked like flip phones, yeah. Kinda. The form factor, anyway, yeah. Yeah, that would make sense if that's true, yeah. If you were able to prove the president was a fake, both Patricia Rowland and Blaze the Best would have been in danger. That is correct, and I had heard the proof with my own ears. I liked flip phones. I never minded them, but the hinge part of flip phones tended to be the first thing to go, though, or to break. So they were a bit fragile. I always used candy bar form factor cell phones back in the day for that reason. Because I knew all too well from my friends using phones like that that this tended to be... Did you play Bounce? What do you mean Bounce? What's Bounce? The Red Ball game on all Nokias? I didn't have that one on my Nokia. I mean, I first had a Philips one, a really thick one, and then I had an, a Motorola, I think I had after that. Then I had a Sony Ericsson, and by the time I got a Nokia, it was like 2005 maybe or something like that. I had Snake 3D on my first Nokia. It was already 3D. Yeah, I had a 3D version of Snake actually. It was a Java phone that I bought in, yeah, 2006 I think. Yeah, and it had USB, so I could put my music on it. Despite the fact that it was not yet a smartphone, I could put my own music on it and my own, like, ringtones and stuff like that I would just pull from my PC and stuff like that. And I actually played a Castlevania game that was released only on for Java phones in Japan on my phone, on that Nokia. I know you can still buy phones like the flip phone design, just a modern version. Well, yeah, definitely. Some older people prefer them because they're not quite as complicated to use. My mom has a older style phone like that because it's easier for her to use. That is correct, and I had heard the proof with my own ears. I'll be waiting in the courtyard of the orphanage at midnight on February 9th. Even if it's just once, I want John to be able to meet you. I'm sorry if I'm being selfish, but I'll be waiting. Who might you be? My apologies, but I am presently waiting for someone. I am well aware of that, President Wong. Are you not meeting with your son? However, I do not spill blood needlessly. You may relax. I seek only the President's life. It can't be. Please wait. I am just about to meet my son for the first time. I am sure this will be the first and the last time. Please, at least, wait until we are finished. Japan's flip phones look so cool, such a nice and sleek design. I had thought the president would beg for his life, but he was of a different sort. Officially, the president had no son. However, he shook his head and said, this illegitimate son was his, and he intended to recognize him publicly. Furthermore, he claimed that he had already made preparations towards that end. Well, the will. Would that son of his be the boy with horns over there by any chance? Boy with the horns? Wait, you can't see John's horns? There is no need to see them. From the moment I escaped from prison until now, I have been closely lending an ear to your voices. He said that the president made preparations towards recognizing his son. But the word preparations alone would be insufficient for blackmail. Yeah, he really did. He said so himself earlier. Yeah, just to come here. I guess so, yeah. There was one thing that could prove Wong's words, the will held by the House of Lang. It was also proof of his trust in us. his son's existence would have been revealed to the world. The name on the recording, the mention of preparations, and the will in Zengfa. Together they sufficed to make the warden bow to my words. With those three pieces of information, what could prove the identity of the double? By using John. The president blocked the first strike of my knife with something soft. As pieces of it fell atop the snow, I struck once more. This time, the blow proved fatal. So Dogen cut off the Mozilla's doll's horn. None but I heard his final words. Only myself and that child knew of the president's secret son. Where is he now, that kid? Dogen and the Acolyte. I continued my correspondence with the young Acolyte even after entering prison. Where is he now? In other words, you contacted him from prison. That is correct. A post office box was used. A post office box. It would allow one to send and receive letters without revealing the recipient's location. I could not use a form of correspondence that would reveal the Acolyte's location. There was someone keeping watch over my correspondences, after all. Must mean the prison warden, Patricia Rowland. Could you be more specific about the nature of your correspondences? Well, they were mainly moves for my correspondence chess matches. Correspondence chess. If I recall, the person you were playing against was Knightley. This might be hard to believe, but Dogen's chess opponent was... Are you saying he was playing against Mr. Knightley? Wasn't it Oris Knightley? We certainly found the correspondence chess memo in Knightley's cell. Typed on a word processor. Does that mean Knightley Boy was the kid from the Ss5 Incident? Wait. Really? Wait, how old is he? If his profile is in there anyway. 24? Ah, that makes sense, yeah. I would have never guessed. Jeez. Could that really be true? Everything is tied together. 6 years old when his dad was killed, and 12 years old when the president was killed. Yeah. Yeah. So when he was 12 when he set the fire, but he was 6 years old when he was when his dad died, I guess. Is there any evidence connecting Knightley to the Ss5 incident? A ring and chessboard found inside the safe. This maybe? But what are the mementos? I mean, what was on the ring again? Wasn't it initials? It was PH? No, what was it? PH? I can't recall if it was Pierre okay or not. It was PH on the ring. Or was it the signet that was found on Dover's body? PhD. I can't recall if it was PH on the ring as well, but I think so. Might have been. This was all that Knightley left behind. Could there be a clue hidden within? The ring, if I can? Ah, yeah, it does say PH. Yeah, okay. Those are the initials of his dad. Mr. Edgeworth, what is it? Mr. Shields, please take a look at this ring. This pattern is... It's Pierre Okay's. I thought so. He had Mr. Dover's seal turned into a ring. However, why would he have this? Shouldn't it have been held by the police as evidence? So he turned the signet into a ring? It's the same piece of evidence, actually? After the incident, the seal was returned to the victim's next of kin. And Mr. Dover's only family was his son, but since no one knew where the son had gone to, it took a while to get it to him. I had heard that the police had finally found him and delivered his inheritance, but so the seal was thereby safely delivered to his son, eventually. And then he turned the seal into a ring and wore it on his person. Wow. So, Mr. Knightley was Mr. Dover's son. The police aren't fools. I'm sure they did a thorough check before handing over the seal. If someone involved in the Ss5 incident was his chess opponent, Knightley, huh? Then that man must be the mastermind behind this case. But he's dead. He cannot be involved. The other kid, Gustavia's kid. How about that? The only one who could be the mastermind was himself a murder victim. But a dead guy can't be the culprit, so there's no way that's right. It's certainly strange. In that case, who is the culprit? The other kid? Recently, that has all come to an abrupt halt, however, it left me concerned. Furthermore, those involved in the crime 12 years ago were all drawn into incident one by one. I grew more and more curious, and so I absconded briefly from the prison. Writing letters in Braille can be a rather enjoyable pastime. In Braille? Wait. Shit, do I have it? There it is, I think. That's not in Braille. He says he wrote them in Braille, but... There we go. Yeah. What were the odds? Or probably from the same bot. I mean, using two different accounts. But anyway, okay, back on track. I'm certain you said you wrote your letters in Braille. Correct. The good prosecutor must know that I am lacking in sight, do you not? The correspondence chest letter we found had been typed out using a word processor. What? That cannot be. What do you mean? So someone went out of their way to retype the letters on a computer? Could another person have acted as a middleman between Dogen and Knightley? What do you mean? Dogen wrote his letters in Braille. However, by the time it reached Knightley, it had been rewritten on a word processor. We must assume that some middleman rewrote those letters. Well, assuming he was posting them, assuming they were still playing against one another, one in the detention center and the other one in his prison cell, they were not mailing one another from the prison to the detention center, weren't they? Dogen was still using the post office mailbox. So someone not in prison had to go there to get the mail, I suppose. And that person would not be the acolyte. Who else would it be? I think it might be the other kid. Gustavia's son, whatever his name is. That same somebody might have taken the letters Knightley wrote and re-delivered them to Dogen. Yes, that is indeed true. I mean, did he even know that his real opponent was in the detention center right next to him? I mean, I can't even recall the details of that case now. There's just so much stuff to remember. The mastermind retyped Dogen's letters with a word processor and sent them to Knightley. Knightley and Dogen both communicated through a certain individual. Dogen, were the letters that reached you? They were in Braille, of course. So Knightley Boy's letters must have been transposed by that same person as well. Oh, then that somebody must be the mastermind behind the case. You're saying there's someone else who's the mastermind behind this case? Then who the hell is it? Dover's son, Knightley, is already deceased. In that case, there is one more youth that we should consider to be the mastermind. You mean then Gustavia's son. But who the heck is he? He hasn't been brought up yet, really. Not that much. If Knightley is Dover's son, then Gustavia's son must be... Well, we're the only friends either of us has had since childhood. He was The same as me, we never had real families. Yeah, who said that originally? Wait, Shelly the Killer? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the monkey guy. Yeah. Keys. Yeah, Simon Keys. It can't be. Could it? Could it really be him? A mastermind of crime? That guy? I figured it out. The identity of the mastermind who's been controlling this case from the shadows. What? Who in the world is it? I don't want to believe it myself. Yeah, me neither. You and me both, Edgeworth. But it is someone we know quite well. The mastermind is... him? He's the same age and everything, actually. He's 24 years old. Sent a letter to Jill Crane, which deceived Blaze. Furthermore, he kidnapped John and eavesdropped on us. However, all of his actions, the one I have not been able to get out of my mind. Ah, yes, Shelly the Killer, the guy who held Horace at knife point in the first case. Yeah, obviously they were not friends, yeah. I was misremembering again. It's how we brought an unconscious Kate to the roof. The giant monster. Huh? Did you just say something? That's right. The key to exposing the mastermind is in the monster's true form. Ah, I almost forgot. If you'd like, please come to our next show. I'll also be performing in it. The Berry Big Circus is always fabulous and fun for all ages. Miss Swift, there is something I would like to ask of you. Oh, what? You mean me? You said that you recorded the sound of Moodzilla spewing flames. Yeah, and I kinda remember the sound. It sounded like a blowtorch or something. Would this decisive evidence of yours be something you recorded on that tape recorder? That's Mr. Edgeworth for ya. You're good at figuring things out, aren't ya? It's the sound of Moodzilla spewing out fire. This place nearly became a sea of flames. That's right. I ain't actually seen it with my own eyes, though. Could you let us listen to the tape? Sure thing. There we go. Or it kinda sounds... well, I don't know if it's meant to sound like what it's supposed to be, but, like a hot air balloon. Yeah, so it seems that my reasoning was correct. The true nature of the monster and the mastermind, all of my logic is coming together. Miss Hart, you said that you captured the giant ion film, did you not? Sure did. Right there in this photo. Though we cannot confirm it like this. Detective Gumshoe. And he would have been able to escape the roof, actually, if he used a hot air balloon. Lend us your film analysis device. Okay, but what do you want to analyze, sir? This photo, please. I'm on it. Is there a new clue in this photo? It looks like a big eye. Actually... I don't have the circus flyer anymore. Because if there was a logo on it, and the logo had something to do with the circus, I guess I would have been able to compare it, but... See, ain't the Moodzilla's eye right where I said it would be? Heh, I see. I have finally grasped. Oh, are they adding pixels that don't exist? Nice, nice. Yeah, it's called enhancing in CSI lingo. The true form of the giant monster that was being controlled by the mastermind. Giant monster? Are you admitting it? You are, ain't ya, pal? Oh no, ain't ya? You're admitting that the mighty Moodzilla is real? No, this is not Moodzilla. This is the eye of a different monster. Please have a look at this. Oh, but yeah, it's there, right there. It's a lion hot air balloon, a lion head. I didn't even actually notice that it was a hot air balloon. I thought it was just a lion head or something. I didn't notice the, what's it called, basket, I guess, hung under it. Precisely, there is a rather large balloon with the head of a lion pictured here. This balloon is the true identity of the giant monster. In addition, the sound Miss Swift recorded, which she believes to be Mozilla spewing flames. Yeah, it does sound like a hot air balloon, actually. Mr. Prosecutor, don't tell me you're gonna say something that'll shatter my dreams of a scoop. Hot air balloons fly by using burners to heat the air, right, sir? Precisely, Detective. The mastermind used this monster of his to bring Kate to the rooftop of the Grand Tower without using the elevator. Ah. Wouldn't that mean that the mastermind is someone connected to the circus? He's a member of the circus, Knightley's friend, and Dane Gustavia's son. Who'd have thunk it? Thunk. Yeah, that's real good English. An apprentice beast tamer, hey, he's no amateur. Well, he is the puppet master in this case. For the beast he has tamed is none other than this entire case. Simon Keyes, he is the mastermind behind this whole incident. Mr. Keyes was really behind it all. No way, I don't believe it. I mean, we trusted him. How could it all have been a lie? That's just heartbreaking. K. What is it? Hey you, stop. Where do you think you're going? Who? Dogen? Going back to his cell, I guess. Maybe. The boy with horns is rather perceptive. The good prosecutor has done a remarkable job. Now that I have heard that, I have no further business here. What? Wait, Dogen! Uh-oh. Damn it, where did he vanish to? Mr. Edgeworth, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. However, that guy, John? That Dogen guy, he's the one who killed my dad, right? There is no question more difficult to answer, however, there's no use in denying the truth. Yes, John, you are correct. He'll pay for this. I swear he's gonna pay! I'll make him pay myself. John, you mustn't finish that thought. Prosecutor Edgeworth, please pay us no mind. Sir, I've put out an APB on Dogen. All available police units will be searching for him. You heard the man, kid. I don't mean to be heartless, but we need to hurry too. So, Mr. Prosecutor, where's the mastermind right now? Agent Lang is right. Our top priority right now should be catching the mastermind. He said he would be practicing. He is most likely at the very big circus tent. But first, Agent Lang, I have a request. A request? What is it? Now that we've identified the giant monster, our next order of business is to capture it. The moment we arrived at the tent, I need you to locate that specific item post-haste. And Detective, I ask that you perform a follow-up investigation on the kidnapping incident. Roger that, sir. Mr. Edgeworth, I want to help out too. In that case, you'll be in charge of calling for backup. If he is truly the mastermind, we may require assistance from a certain someone. I met him so many times, yet his facade always fooled me into sympathy. Yeah, me too, right? He may have got the better of me in the past, but this time I'll settle it once and for all. And because I will obviously not have enough time to finish the game today, I think it's best if I leave this final chapter for tomorrow. So I will stop here. I know it's a bit early compared to my usual time for finishing streaming, but I obviously won't have enough time for tomorrow to finish it. I intend to do the final Shovel Knight campaign. There were 4. I already did 3, So that way I will have that game already off my backlog. And that's one less Switch game that I have on my backlog that way. And also that allows me to have some time tomorrow in the afternoon to write my review of Borderlands on the Switch that I have to hand in. And I already have the overlay for streaming that game, so that way I don't have to do another overlay as well. And I will be making another overlay for whatever will come after once I have all of that out of the way, because I would not have time to do everything otherwise. It's easier for me that way. But I will be finishing this game tomorrow anyway. So tomorrow it will be at night. It will be like any regular middle of the weekday. So that should be around 7 p.m. my time as usual. And I will definitely be completing the game tomorrow night anyway. So there's nothing to be worried about. We'll be wrapping everything up tomorrow and taking our time with it, so I don't have to rush it to have it done before I have to leave for tonight's stream, because I can't really tell how long this final chapter is gonna be. I just know that there were 5 chapters to this last case. I kinda spoiled myself the amount of chapters so that I would be able to sort of plan ahead how it would go, but I don't know how long it is though. So we'll see tomorrow, but I definitely will be finishing this tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, and take care, please. Okay, see you tomorrow.